Intersection of North and South America. Here you could swim in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans in the same day. You could also play some quality golf. Palmer, Snead, DiVincenzo, they all won in Panama, and now a new generation chasing their dreams. Here's one of the pre-championship favorites, Santiago de la Fuente of Mexico, after a round one, 69 in good position. Here's how he finished up on Thursday late from the right rough at the difficult 18th hole. Go ahead, Santiago, and do that. Tap in birdie for De La Fuente. Back out this morning. He started on the backside, finishing up here at the 9th hole, showing you the soft hands. Really has a wonderful touch. He's an All-America at the University of Houston, played the Palmer Cup last year, beat one of the best collegiate players in the country, David Ford of North Carolina, in singles. So it's a 71 for De La Fuente. He's at even par at the midway point. Also from Mexico, Omar Morales. He plays at UCLA, part of the afternoon wave. He opened with 69. There he is with a birdie at number 4. So Morales, where we thought he would be, right in contention. Here's another stalwart who's played well in this championship in the past, Andre Xavier from Brazil. 3 top 15 finishes in the Latin America Amateur Championship. Gorgeous shot at the 7th. He also birdied 1 and 3. The Brazilian is on top. Brazil has not yet won a Latin America Amateur Championship. Difficult golf course, great championship underway from Panama. The Masters Tournament, in partnership with the R&A and USGA, proudly presents the 2024 Latin America Amateur Championship. It's so good to be back in Panama, the Central American country, for the second time. We were here at Golf Club of Panama in 2017 for the Thriller, won by Toto Gana in that playoff. Now at Santa Maria Golf Club. Little more than 7,000 yards, a par of 72. 108 players from across the region are getting after it. Rich Lerner alongside two-time U.S. Open champion Andy North. Former U.S. Amateur champion Colt Knost is on the golf course with Iona Stephen. And John Sutcliffe has the interviews. And Andy, it is warm out there in the 90s.
That, and it's testing these players physically, mentally, emotionally.
We're at the 8th tee with the leader, Xavier.
Yeah, with his distance, with the wind helping, he can take it right over that bunker. Unfortunately, he's yanked it a little bit left, but it's, I believe, stayed in the fairway.
5th appearance in the Latin America Amateur. One of 8 players in this field representing Brazil. And now at the 6th, this is Villavicencio of Guatemala.
After a huge drive. Spin, and that's what we're seeing. You get going downwind. It's tough to stop these shots, and the chipping and pitching around the greens very, very challenging.
And back to the 7th, and let's bring in Colt Knost with Omar Morales.
Afternoon, guys. What a tee shot from Omar Morales. This was a good 30 yards past the other 2 in the group. But he is coming off back-to-back bogeys. Made a really sloppy bogey back at 6 when he drove it green high. But this from just 154 and straight downwind. This a converted par 5, playing is just over 460 yards today.
Colt, he drove it down that neck of the fairway, the narrowest point.
Yeah, I think he took out a little frustration on that tee shot, Andy. Oh, almost flew it in the hole.
What a wonderful shot, man. That's a way nice. After birdie at 4, then 2 bogeys, and get the one back right here. That was beautifully done.
Going to work up a sweat here in Panama. It is toasty. We're in the 90s, and it's humid. Winds have been a factor as well, and the greens have been quite firm.
Well, the winds are blowing at least what the numbers we have up there. We're seeing some gusts probably well into the 20s, and it blows across this golf course. When we get into the back 9 and around those last 2 or 3 holes, there's a bunch of high rises, and the wind swirls through there, and it's really made it difficult for the players to judge what direction the wind's blowing.
Back at 6, Villavicencio. He's 44 years old, from Guatemala. You and I talked yesterday. This might be the kind of golf course, and that's not his best, where one of the older players could hang around.
I think this one is going to take a lot of cagey veteran moves. This is not just about blasting it around. You've got to keep the ball in the right positions, and with the wind blowing, it really has been tough.
Now, let's bring in Iona with the leader, Andre Xavier.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very much looking forward to watching this group, and particularly this young start. Very solid year in the amateur ranks last year. Won the Brazilian Amateur, and now out here. He means business. He's got a very serious expression on his face. And this is not an easy hole. It's a very tough stretch that we join this group at.
And he's going to have a really difficult pitch coming back down the hill. It will be back into the wind, which will help somewhat.
Give you a look at our featured groupings. Xavier from Brazil, Carlos Ardila from Colombia, and a guy we have seen the last few years who's been close, Segundo Oliva Pinto of Argentina, played at Arkansas with last year's champion Mateo Fernandez de Oliveira. Our good friend Omar Tejera from Panama was in the booth yesterday and did a wonderful job. He's out with Omar Morales and Justin Hastings from the Cayman Islands. Hastings inside the top 100. World Amateur Golf Rankings, plays collegiately at San Diego State. Now back to the 6th, Villavicencio.
Yeah, this is now a par putt after the chip shot that went awry. And that is going to be a very difficult bogey, thinking he'd hit a pretty decent second shot in there.
You and Omar just had the time of your lives talking golf yesterday for a couple of hours in the booth, Andy.
Well, he's got himself a really difficult shot that he pulled off unbelievably well, coming right down the spine of that ridge. Beautifully done.
Did you feel like he was about to bump you out of your spot?
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. He's 33 years old. He's in business here in Panama, very successful, but he was at one time a professional, regained his amateur status. Has played this golf course hundreds of times, like our Panamanian friend Miguel Ordonez, who is going to join us in the booth in just a little while. Miguel played well today with a round of even par 70.
This is a golf course, if you've played it a lot, it is a huge advantage. The one good thing for the most of the field, the wind's going to blow the same direction all week. If it would swirl around a little bit, it'd be impossible for the players who haven't seen it before. It's all just diving off to the right.
How tricky are these greens, Andy?
I think they read the way they should. Unfortunately, there's a lot of ridges and mounds and knobs, and if you get it in the wrong section of the green, it's going to be very difficult to two-putt. If you're spot on with your irons and get it in the small little sections, it's a little bit like the TPC course in that way, that if you put it in the right section, you've got some great opportunities to make birdie, but if you're not there, the two-putting is very, very difficult.
And Colt, early impressions of this guy, Omar Morales of Mexico?
Well, there's a reason he's the highest ranked player in the field. He's got a ton of game, hits it a mile. Short game's been really impressive, and showed a lot of maturity coming off two pretty sloppy bogeys in a row to hit that beautiful tee shot, and that fantastic iron shot. Should have no problem converting for birdie here.
And Colt, some professional experience in 2023.
Yeah, that's great experience for him going forward. Obviously plans on turning professional at some point after his college career, but to get your feet wet this early is a huge advantage.
We saw him hit the first tee shot at the U.S. Open last year in L.A., and he fashioned a little 3 under the front 9 and looked up on the leaderboard, and there his name was.
Yeah. He struggled on day 2 and he missed the cut. He played the Mexico Open at Vedante on the PGA Tour. and shot 67 round 2, missed the cut by only 1. The talent is there. Santa Maria Golf Club, historically outstanding test for these amateur players. Let's take a deeper dive to find out some of the more pivotal holes on this golf course.
Holes number 7, 8, 9. These are 3 consecutive par 4s, very tough par 4s. So a score of even through those 3 is pretty good, even for an event of this caliber.
That stretch 9, 10, 11. It's just a stretch where you can go bogey, 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 or you can go birdie, eagle, birdie. I am absolutely convinced that number 9 is going to be a pivotal hole. It's wide open when it comes to possibilities. Now, you can make birdie on all 3 holes, even an eagle, but you're going to do it with a lot of stress.
And back-to-back, we have another stretch, which is 10, 11, 12, 3 holes with water. And these are 3 risk-reward holes where we can see some low scores as well, or some blow-up opportunities too.
There are no easy shots, so you're going to have to stand on tees and deal with out of bounces, deal with lakes. So I think that's going to be a very pivotal stretch right there. But also, you know, having converted number 7, which is normally for regular play, a par 5, they've converted to a finish, you know, with 7, 8, 9. If you start on 1, you have to, you know, be ready, be prepared for that stretch. And then when you get to 10, 11, 12, that's where you can, you know, try to make up ground and hopefully get a few birdies, and then hold on after that because there's some tough finishing holes.
So I really can't wait to see the action on those 2 different stretches, which are back-to-back, and I think are going to create a very emotional scene here at Santa Maria.
So far today, the 16th hole is the most difficult hole, the 9th hole is the 2nd most difficult, and the 7th hole is the 3rd most difficult. You'd expect that 16 and 7 with the 2 holes have been turned from par 5s to par 4s this week because the greens really don't fit the approach shots the players are having to hit into those greens. They're more for pitches and wedges. 2012, Nicholas Design Company did this. Troy Vincent was the lead architect, playing just under 7,000 today.
And let's go back down to Iona with Xavier.
It's all about where you miss it on this golf course. This is one of the easier chip shots she'll get around this green.
Yeah, that was well done. Down in there inside of 3 feet.
Steamy day here in Panama. Xavier playing beautifully, and the lead is only at 2 under par, just 3 in red figures. Round 2 of the Latin America Amateur Championship.
All right, let's look down at the 8th hole. Anytime you're putting up the hill on this hole, it is very, very important. This ball should break from his right to left. And as it loses speed, it just keeps going. The surfaces are very good. The ball rolls on the line you think it should roll on. Putting in the wind becomes much more difficult, and there's been some pretty good gusts, and there's some certain parts of the golf course that are a little bit more exposed. So Carlos with a good start today. 3 over par is in 15th place, so he is just hanging around in a good position. He needs just one of those stretches where you make 3 or 4 birdies in a row, and all of a sudden you're right at the lead. There's Pinto, Iona.
Yeah, unfortunately for Segundo, this is for bogey because he was left with a tee shot, misjudged his approach shot into the bunker and then left it in the bunker. So this is a very important putt. He's just not looked very comfortable in the last few holes. A little bit flustered, hot under the collar, but this could settle things. Sometimes a putt for bogey that you hole can just steady the ship.
That's a good, nice stroke. He's coming in here off of a 5th place last week at the South American Amateur, so he was one of my guys I thought might contend this week.
The Latin America Amateur Championship is brought to you by Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? IBM, let's create. AT&T, we believe connecting changes everything. Mercedes-Benz, the vehicles are all electric, the feeling is all Mercedes, the choice is all yours. 6 feet 3 inches tall, Omar Morales. He can really get after it. 8th tee.
Just 300 yards to cover the bunker down the right.
That shouldn't be an issue at all for him downwind, I wouldn't think. He just absolutely, it was waving.
Tell you what, Andy, Santa Maria is starting to dry out. This place is going to get firm, and the scores are going to go up.
That's just what all these guys would like to hear right now. Yeah, you can see the greens look like they're drying out a little bit.
That's what it's all about right there. Inspiring
That
the next generation.
Might be playing here in 6 or 7 years. You never know.
Oh boy, shoved it right. Xavier with a bogey at the 8th. His first of the day. 2 under on the round. And back to 1 under for the championship, tied with Morales and Fuenmayor, who was in already with 68. Now Tejera.
I like this golf swing. Really shut club face and then just turns his body out of the way.
It hit just an absolute pellet. That thing didn't move an inch either way. It's down the left-hand side.
About as high as that second floor on that skyscraper in the distance, or that tall building. No,
Notice
if it's a skyscraper.
Our friends from Panama have all been hitting the ball much lower than most everybody else this week.
You know, the wind can fool players. Inside of all the buildings.
You get to 8, 9, and then 16, 17, 8, 15, 16, 17, 18. The holes are along those big apartments or condos, and the wind swirls around, and you can't feel it from some of the tees, and you get out in the fairway and it's blowing straight across the hole about 20 miles an hour. So you have to pay close attention to what you're doing.
So Omar played his first round, then he jumped into the booth with us for round number 1. We really enjoyed his insights, great handle on his wonderful country. And with that, we're thrilled to welcome a guy we've known for quite some time since we've been doing this championship, because he's played in every one. This now the 9th, also from Panama, played beautifully today with a round of even par 70, Miguel Ordonez. Welcome, mi amigo.
Thank you, Rich. Andy, Mr. North. I always tell you, Mr. North. It's hard for me to say Andy. It's just a privilege to be here. I couldn't be any happier, and to be quite honest, I'm happy I'm here now, and I'm watching, because you know it's hard out there.
You're not entirely new to broadcasting, are you? You called some masters in a local TV station, didn't you?
No, I'm not. I feel like fish in water here. I'm learning with you guys, because you guys are the best. But
thank you.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple hours, just enjoying myself here, watching, my good friend Omar and some great players that we got, like Omar Morales and Hastings. I mean, we got some really good studs out there.
So tell us about some of the holes we're going to see over the next couple hours that are going to really be either problems or great opportunities for the players.
Well, we're witnessing what could happen on 8. Xavier, he hits it over the green. Iona was saying that, and she was right. It's an easier chip. And here he is. This one's the key hole in this golf course, and obviously he's a long hitter, so he's going to go 3-wood. He's got a, that's a tracer. He's probably hitting a cut. The problem is the wind's coming from the right, which is pushing it, and he might not cover that bunker. Well, he got lucky. So that's the issue. We came into the air. We saw hole number 8. It's really difficult hole. It's playing downwind, and the green's really firm. So if you're not in the fairway, you're gonna have issues controlling your spin. And then when you get to 9, what I said to people, whatever you decide to hit on 9, you have got to commit. If that means for someone like me, for example, it's driver, but I commit to the driver. If you hit 3-iron, if you hit 3-wood, if you get up there with any doubt, that hole would bite you like a venomous viper.
Yeah, that to me looking at the golf course early, and it looked like the one hole in the golf course that you had to hit a tee shot exactly like you wanted to hit it. It's the one hole that probably the narrowest, water along the right-hand side, out of bounds on the left, and that one bunker exactly where you want to play. So I felt like either you'd lay up short of it, or if you could have the firepower to take it over it, you could do that. But with this wind blowing hard from the right and a little bit back into the players, that's a tough driving hole.
You've been around on the scene for a long time. What has the Latin America Amateur Championship done for the game in this region, Miguel?
It's hard to put into words, Rich. The Latin American Amateur Championship, in my opinion, has become one of the premier amateur events in the world. I just get goosebumps watching this project. My country on TV just looks amazing. I just hope that it keeps inspiring people. Just a while back, you talked about that little kid with the Mexican flag and what that can mean. So this is just, it's hard to put into words. It's just astounding what the Masters Tournament, the RNA, and the USGA have done to come together to create this event.
Well, Omar was sitting in here yesterday sweating bullets on every shot you hit.
Well, I'm gonna start sweating for him, but this is the strength of his game. This guy, don't go to sleep on him. He's just a competitor, and he can hit his irons when he's on, and he likes this one. He likes this one.
Okay, that's going to be on the opposite side of one of these ridges that we see meander through these greens.
So, you look inside this field, 108 countries, 108 players from 28 different countries and territories. Panama, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia with the most at 8 apiece. Omar at 72 is the highest ranked player in the world. And while we don't at this point have top 30, 40, there's greater depth than we've seen in some time.
Absolutely. For every category, like top 100, top 150, top 200, there's almost twice as many this year in those categories as that we saw just last year.
Morales.
He's 56 yards closer, just 110. He can be really aggressive from here.
Just downwind, sand wedge, see if you can spin it. Well done.
What changes, Miguel, have you seen just in terms of growth, improvement, excitement since we were last here in 2017?
Well, look, we have an influence of Venezuelans, Colombians, Peruvians, a lot of people that are coming from their country. I think slowly but surely golf is growing in our country. The Panamanian Golf Association, through the current president, Mr. Miguel Duran, and the previous president, Jean-Pierre de Roux, a dear friend, they've done a sensational job. So I think we're growing, and not only growing, but growing in the right direction. We have a vast schedule of tournaments from every level. And yeah, it's I love to see the excitement on people's just out here and following different players.
Omar was telling us yesterday that 3 or 4 years ago you'd have a junior tournament, there might be 20 players. Now there's 100. That's fantastic growth.
There's Omar Morales riding toward the 8th hole. Chance maybe to take the lead here. We'll continue our conversation with Panama's very own Miguel Ordóñez at the Latin America Amateur Championship.
So it's awesome that we have the self-proclaimed mayor of Panama City with us today.
I had that coming, Mr. North. When I said I could pinch hit for Rich in the opening, I'm sorry about that.
No, the golf course, you've got to be awfully proud. You've been involved in this golf course from day one. They've made fantastic strides, getting better and better and better. and the agronomy. So many of the things we talk so much about, the players getting better and more opportunities for the players, but it's also a great learning platform for the superintendents and the general managers of the clubs and all the other things that are wrapped up in this.
Yeah, we couldn't be prouder. I mean, we have a fantastic group from the ownership group led by the Mota family, Mr. Tito Mota, Mr. Manuel Arias, Mr. Alberto Vallarino. They never wavered in their support to provide the operational staff and the golf staff with everything that we needed in terms of equipment, in terms of chemicals, fertilizers, and obviously the support from the LAAC, from the USGA, from Darren Bever, that's the head agronomist for the USGA, our very own Troon, through our agronomist Jeff Cathy, and our superintendent and the crew, Mr. Remigio Gonzalez. It's just it's and led by Jose Ignacio Leal.
Sweltering day here in Panama. We're at Santa Maria Golf Club, second round of the Latin America Amateur Championship. Rich Lerner with Andy North and Miguel Ordonez, who posted 70 today, even par. It's an excellent score. And now his countryman, Omar Tejera, for birdie. All right, I know you love sports. You grew up as a Cubs fan watching WGN. And real quickly, your first words as a kid were?
Holy cow.
And that's how you learned to speak such good English. All right, Panama's greatest ever athletes, go.
Roberto Duran, Mariano Rivera. Those have to be the two greatest. I mean, there's several. We have an Olympic winner, gold medal, Mr. Irving Saladino. But I have to stay with Roberto Duran. He put us on the map, and Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer of all time.
Manos di Pietro, hands of stone, right?
Hands of stone.
Hands of stone. Can I throw another one out to one of the heroes of my youth? I think he was one of the greatest contact hitters ever, Rod Carew.
Rod Carew.
Well,
you got me there, Rich. That he's I mean, 7-time batting champion. Stole home several times. Yeah, Rod Carew. Our national stadium is named after him.
Can I also throw at you a Lafitte Pincay?
Man, you're going deep. Yes, yes. One of the greatest jockeys of all time, no doubt. I mean, it depends. I mean, we have a rich sports tradition and heritage, and hopefully we can continue building now on the golf side.
Well, you're doing all the right things to do that. So got to be really proud of what's going on here in the 7 years since we've been here before. There must be 30 more buildings that popped up since we were here last. It's incredible. Every every corner you go around downtown, there's another crane going and another 50 or 60-story building. It's fantastic.
You reach this worldwide audience. What's great about Panama beyond the golf that we're experiencing?
Well, we're a sensational country. Obviously, the weather, sometimes it gets hot, but very stable weather. Stability in the country. It's just a place where that's been growing steadily for the last 25 years. After in 1989, we were liberated, to put it that way, by the Americans from the dictatorship of Manuel Antonio Noriega. We've become a democracy and one of the most stable democracies in the region. So we've been able to grow at a steady economic pace, and that's created a lot of stability. And, like any country, we're dealing with a few issues, social issues right now, but we're hoping that everything gets settled, because this is a jewel. It used to be one of the best kept secrets in the world. Now the secret's kind of out, and I'd love for it to continue being out, because I want to encourage everybody out there watching and listening to this to come to Panama. It's just a fantastic place.
All right, this is Xavier, and that one gets away from him. So just continuing on with that, I mentioned at the top, you could swim in both oceans in the same day, but you have the sort of archipelagos, the Pearl Islands I've been to, which are just jaw-droppingly beautiful. San Blas Islands as well.
There are an awful lot of Americans that are coming down here and vacationing and end up becoming, this is their winter travel down here. It's English is spoken by an awful lot of people. The American dollar is very important here.
No doubt. The American dollar is huge to keep stability in our currency and in our economy. We also have a place called Boquete, which is it's been ranked in one of the top 5 places in the world to retire because it's in the highlands.
The coffee is produced there,
and the coffee is
correct?
produced there, and there's a lot of people that go retire there. So, yeah, we have several places.
It's among the best spots in the world, if I'm not mistaken, for deep sea fishing, Panama.
Yes, we have a place called Bahia Piñas, which is the Pineapple Bay. Sensational. It's a great place. You can go there to get some marlins, swordfish, bluefin tunas, all sorts of great, so whoever loves fishing, deep sea fishing, Panama is a perfect place to come.
And there's also this thing called the Panama Canal that's fairly important.
That's right.
In this part of the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you guys have heard, we've had a tough year because obviously for golf is great, but we've had a drought because of obviously the climate change, and we call it the El Niño phenomenon, which is like the kids phenomenon, and basically it's something that has to do with the tides and the air or whatever. And that's basically has dried up our reservoirs for the canal. So the canal has had to adjust the amount of ships that go through it. Yeah. So that's been a hit to our economy. We're talking close to $200-300 million, which for a country like ours is big, but hopefully we're getting better.
All right, Xavier.
What a great save.
It really was. So there's talk of expanding the lake.
It's what needs to be done. Obviously, it's become a political issue, and some people are, using it against. But we have to do it. It's a major investment, but we have to have more, expand our reservoirs because water is crucial. And a lot of people don't know it, but it's absolutely crucial for the function of the canal to have sweet water.
All right, here is the co-leader now at the 9th.
He's going with fairway metal, maybe even a hybrid.
See, guys, this is what happens. I mean, you get on that tee, you feel that wind, and he did the right thing. Morales did the right thing. You got to get back. You got to regroup. It happened to me today. Pick your target and go, because if you have any doubt over this golf shot, you're going to be paying the price.
This is big trouble, guys. This is way left. There's out of bounds over there.
Oh, man.
He's going to need a really lucky break for that to stay in.
We did not see it finish.
Yeah, we've been talking about this 9th hole for 2 days now.
Well, I saw it. That's why I told you. When he was over the ball and he backed off, obviously, something happened. Doubt, something crept into his mind. And again, I think that the key for this hole is that whichever wind direction the wind's coming from, you have to, like for example, today it's coming hard from the right. You have to take on the lake, because if you try to cut it against that wind, it's a no-no.
But it's hard to trust it to throw it down that edge, and if the wind buffets around a couple of these buildings, all of a sudden it hangs there. Now you got some real problems. Now that was really aggressive line, like you're saying, and it turned out perfectly. And now he's got a great opportunity with the front left hole location to make birdie.
No doubt, no doubt. You're right. I mean, he did what great players do. If you have the shape and you have the capability of pulling off that shot, it would be the shot. But the left bunker is not the worst place in the world. I think people overestimate the left bunker in a way, but if you end up there, hell, I think you talk to people on the field, we'll take it there 4 days.
I actually, when I first saw the hole, I liked this idea. Hitting it up there short of the bunker. The fairway's about 45 yards wide, much wider than any other part of the fairway. Yeah, you've got a shot that's going to be 25 yards longer, but to know that you can put it in the fairway 4 days here is so important.
No doubt. And Omar, we've talked in depth about this hole. We always talk about it. And this hole has given him trouble in the past. But I think he settled on this strategy. He hits it far, so this should be right up that bunker, just short. And I love his routine right now. He looks locked in.
That's perfect. Just a low bullet.
So Morales apparently is not hitting a provisional. Colt, what'd you find out?
Yeah, we got a signal from one of the rules officials up there that his ball is in bounds, so that is a huge break for Morales.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's still not out of the woods, because if you're gonna get there, you're gonna have bushes and shrubs and all kinds of problems. You're gonna have little pebble stones. So, but obviously it's a great break if you can find it and hit it.
See Santiago de la Fuente currently one shot back after a solid 1/71, and when he was finished, he chatted with John Sutcliffe.
Gracias, Rich. Santiago, you were talking about the win. The Thursday wasn't as difficult as today. Just describe the challenge out there.
I mean, it was definitely more challenging today. We had a couple holes that it wasn't that windy in the morning. But once we hit the turn closer to hole 18, the wind started blowing, and it was a lot.
What's been the hardest thing this week for you on the mental side? We've talked about what's ahead on Sunday, but you don't want to think about it. How do you deal with that challenge?
I'm just trying to think on the next shot I have in front of me. Obviously taking it one day at a time and trying not to focus a lot on the result, just in the process.
You knocked the door very close in Casa de Campo. What would it mean to open that door on Sunday, Santiago?
I will say it means a lot for me, but for everyone in this field. It's a unique opportunity that we have in front of us, and I mean, someone has to win, and I hope it's me.
I've heard that Pepe Lopez, your caddy, brother of Gaby Lopez, LPGA player, does not like Bad Bunny, but you make him listen to music. Why and because?
So we have some deal that every shot on their par, it's a song that he has to listen every day. So yesterday was 1 under. Today, unfortunately, he's going to be safe.
Andy North is a big Conejo Malo fan. Can you sing 10 seconds of a song?
I'm not a great singer.
You can do it.
No, I'll pass.
Okay. Estamos bien, el Conejo Malo, Andy.
Sutcliffe, you are a piece of work. Absolutely. That's why we fly him here. We love him. He does an unbelievable job. And we'll be back in just a couple of seconds.
Well, yeah, while you bump to Bad Bunny during the break.
I think at the end of the week, lead right now is three players, 1 under par, but
I think he's going to be leading after today.
If you can just hang around even par.
I played with him both days. He's amazing. He's got games for days. He's definitely, in my estimation, right now, he's the player to watch.
I agree. He's got length. He's got great toucher on the greens. He played some really neat little pitch and runs and a lot of little lobs around the greens the last 2 days. Boy, talk about being lucky right here. This could have been a mess. It could have been in one of those little grassy. And it looks like he's going to have a pretty good swing at it.
He will, but that's on some like pebbles, so he's going to scratch his club. But we don't care as players, as long as it comes out nice. But he's going to be blocked by some of those palm trees.
Okay, let's see what Omar can do.
I think this is this is the toughest second shot on the course. I mean, everybody talks about the tee shot, but it plays into the wind and you don't feel it. So let's see how Omar can.
He's in the 170, 75 range. It's got to be rolling left. Oh, what a shot.
We are live with the ninth. One of the co-leaders, Omar Morales. Let's bring in Colt.
What a break he got. To not be in a bush, to not be out of bounds is just so fortunate. I'm not sure what he's looking at here, though. He has just 133 yards. But to me, he's got to pitch this ball out in the fairway, try to make 4 the hard way. If he tries to go at this, he can make a massive number.
By his practice swings he has taken, it looks like he's going to try to take it on. I don't know if there's obviously not much room there. You're playing off of some. They're bigger than just pebbles. It's almost like gravel. You don't catch it cleanly, it could go anywhere.
He's got his right foot on the curb on the road, which is out of bounds. I mean, we'll see.
Wow, that was very aggressive. Needs to sit down. Okay. Whew, that was risky.
Well, it's a big. So that's the kind of break a player gets can change the golf tournament completely for him.
When you're in your early 20s, you try that shot. When you're 40, you don't.
Well, Colt Omar Tejera told us that in round 1, Omar Morales took on some very aggressive lines.
Well, I believe him after seeing that.
Intimating that at some point he might pay a price for that. Now Hastings, who is right there at only 1 over par.
This is a phenomenal player, Rich. I played with him a practice round at the Pan American Games in Chile this year, and he shot a 63. He was the lowest round of the championship with players the caliber of Abraham Answer, Juan Sebastián Muñoz. This guy can play some golf. He's one of the contenders to win this week.
Nice, simple golf swing. Not a lot of things going on.
Plays at San Diego State. He's ranked around 100th in the world, and he just controls his ball. I like his ball flight. I like his demeanor, and he has all the shots.
Xavier on the 10th tee.
Wind should be mostly right to left here and helping maybe a little.
Yes,
enough
sir.
to take it over that bunker.
Well, these guys hit it so far, Mr. North. I mean, that's just amazing what he just did. I can't even dream of carrying that bunker. I mean, he's got a mid-iron into that hole. That's just an absolute bomb.
This is pretty cool. You're going from the 9th hole through the neighborhood, grab an ice cream at the Haagen-Dazs right there on the right. Then you come back in over to the left and you eventually get to the par 5. It's like playing another long par 5 in the middle of your round.
Well, obviously, I mean, what you see here is that we have developed here at Santa Maria the south part of the project, okay? This is where the back 9 and the first holes that were open. So obviously you get to the back 9 and it just gets so pretty because you're inside the community, right? Obviously now they're starting to do the fill-in, to do the development on the north side, which is holes 2 through 7.
Just point out that Miguel is the director of the academy here at Santa Maria and as well director of membership. Now Omar Morales.
He's got 65 yards left for his 3rd shot here. Bring it in nice and low, needs to spin.
And it did. What a play.
On his way to a wild par here at this hole. So Omar Morales not only hit that opening tee shot, as we mentioned at the U.S. Open at Los Angeles Country Club North, he briefly led after 9 holes the U.S. Open. Sat down with us to talk about that major moment in his career up to this point. Here's Iona.
Top-ranked player in the field, Omar Morales is playing in only his 2nd LAAC and his 1st since 2020, but he's come a long way from a 16-year-old rookie to pre-tournament favourite.
I think I qualified in last place for Mexico, and right now I'm #1 for Mexico, and I'm the best ranked player in the field, so it's a little different scenario, and obviously now being in college into my 3rd year, very different, but you know, sometimes I think I really have changed.
Welcome to round 1 of the 123rd U.S. Open Championship.
It was a real honor to hit the first tee shot at the U.S. Open. I couldn't have dreamed of a better scenario, both the qualifying and the site of the US Open. So it was an amazing experience. And I really couldn't believe I qualified. Like half an hour before I teed off, I was really nervous and I didn't really know what to expect. But as soon as I got to the tee and I hit a good one down the middle there, I felt really comfortable in it. It was such a special moment and something I'll definitely never forget. Yeah, it felt amazing. I mean, I was hitting balls next to Rory and Max Homa and, you know, Bryson and everyone. And I got to play with Scottie Scheffler 9 holes on Tuesday, so that was awesome. Everything about the week was amazing. I've been playing well for a while now, and, you know, it's just a matter of being in the right mindset and hitting one shot at a time and not getting ahead of myself. This is a 4-day tournament, so can't win the first day, and really looking forward to the week. I don't really think going into Thursday, oh, I'm the best ranked in this field and therefore I should win. I just take it as a new day and a new week and, you know, go out there and do my best.
So after 9 holes, he's leading some names at that US Open in Los Angeles, names that you might recognize. Ended up shooting 71, very respectable before backing off on day number 2. Said that he learned to focus on the next shot regardless of what has happened. He said the professionals are really good at that. He also added, you're likely to make mistakes, but it's about hitting it in the right spot and recovering from those mistakes. And a few know that better than you, Andy, as a 2-time US Open champ.
Well, we had a nice chat with him this morning around breakfast, and he was explaining the great golf courses in LA that UCLA gets to play, and you start throwing out names like LA North and Riviera and
Bel Air, Hillcrest.
Yeah, it's pretty cool
Brentwood,
for those young men.
But speaking of playing great courses, you have played your fair share in the last few years in the United States, as we're talking with Miguel Ordonez of Panama, who's in this field.
Yes, I'm an extremely fortunate guy. My coach in college, Coach John Brooks, he recruited me to play at the University of North Florida. I was the last player he recruited. And then, you know, he retired and he went to do his own business, and they call him America's guest. You know, as we see Morales here, this is a big putt. This is very important. It's a tricky one. He has to keep his wits about him.
No, lost it right. So finish.
So yeah,
the story.
and Brooksy, as we call him, they call him America's guest, right? There isn't a course in the U.S. and probably, you know, if you add Scotland, that he hasn't played. And you know, I'm one of his boys, thankfully. And 2013 we reconnected and we took a trip to Chicago. And back then we played Old Elm and some of the best in Chicago, Bobolink, North Shore. And then, you know, we kind of started this tradition, and then I made it into the U.S. Mid-Am, as we see Omar here. Again, you can't go to sleep on these out here in this type of greens. You got to stay committed to your routine. Nice, good job. So anyway, we did that golf trip in 2013, and then after that, you know, I played the 2021 U.S. Mid-Am at San Katie Head in Nantucket, and you know, I played great. I made match play, and I get a text from him. And after we finish, I'm like, hey, coach, you know, I don't ask for much, but, you know, can you get me out somewhere? He's like, okay, for you, I'll make a call. So he got me at Old Sandwich, which is one of the best out there. And then it got better from there. Last year, we went to Erin Hills, and he got me on Chicago Golf Club, Shore Acres, and Old Elm. And this year, we did Wingfoot, Marion, and how about an invitation to the Crumb Cup at Pine Valley? So. Wow. I'm a fortunate guy.
All right, this is Xavier. Wow, what
Beautiful.
A shot from the Brazilian.
Great tee shot, set that one up. Now he's got a nice eagle attempt.
Also made the match play at the Mid-Am last year at Sleepy Hollow. We really enjoyed this. Great playing today. We will see you on the weekend. Make a little bit of a baby move. Dinner on Sunday night. Thank you for being such a gracious host, Miguel.
You got it, guys. It's a privilege. Take care.
Couple of rounds in the 60s this weekend, right?
Miguel Ordonez of Panama. And we'll come back with more from the Latin America Amateur Championship right after this.
take a look at the par 3 17. Andy Schaubaum. This is a very interesting hole, playing 180 today. Oh yes, just throw it right in there. He's played in this event a bunch of times. He's been in contention a bunch of times. He knows how to play. He has the experience to just keep grinding along, not get in his way, not try to do too much. Some of the interesting fans that hopefully they'll be here playing the next time it comes back to Panama. This is going to be a problem. I'm guessing this is over the 10th green. If you go for this green in 2 and you carry it over the green, it has a chance to bound down a hill, get down here near the out of bounds fence. It's got some work to do. I'm guessing that was a relief maybe off the path. One over par the first 9. That's not, I mean, that's a tough 9 holes. Bogey at the 8th. There's been a lot of bogeys at 8.
Second round of the Latin America Amateur Championship from Panama City. It has been some test. Just 2 players are in red figures.
He's got to be really careful that he doesn't goose this one a little bit and get it going over the green. That was kind of what you expect might happen. Now he's left with a really, really tough pitch over a couple of big ridges.
There's Carlos Ardila of Colombia. Let's go down to John Sutcliffe.
Thank you, Rich. Mateo was having a great pasta. We've been taking care of wonderful of the food. Thank you for coming out live. What does it mean to be the house leader?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously today was a really good day. Teed off early in the morning and got to take advantage of a couple holes without wind. One mishap on the 7th hole, but other than that, it was a really good day.
You were leader after the first round in Puerto Rico. How does that experience help you today?
Yeah, I learned a lot last year. Just being in that spotlight, being the leader of this big tournament, it means a lot, and so I'm going to take all those past experiences with me and into tomorrow.
If there's an inspiration in Colombian golf right now, it's Camilo Villegas. What Camilo has been doing lately, how much does that impact in your game?
Yeah, it means a lot. You know, he's been through a lot, but what he's done this year is quite amazing. To go 2nd place and then win back-to-back weeks is not surprising for what he's accomplished in his career, and I know for all of us from Colombia, it meant a lot to see that.
I think you're going to be more nervous on Saturday for another reason, no?
Yeah, my Texans are playing tomorrow, so I wish them the best of luck, and then hopefully they can pull it out again. So.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Mateo, 1 under.
Yeah, it's one of the best stories in football this year.
It always comes back to football this time of year.
I know you're fired up for your Green Bay Packers, equally as surprising as Chris Stroud and those Texans, too. Great young quarterbacks, talking about Jordan Love and Chris Stroud. So
they look like they belong. That's the cool part.
Fuenmayor, by the way, plays at Oregon State and won the Duck Invitational in 2023. That's C.J. Stroud, who's the quarterback for the Texans. And now Omar Morales.
290 yards to cover the bunker in the middle of the fairway. Should be no problem with his length.
Colt, we've seen almost every one of the big hitters just carry it 10, 15 yards past and left with a mid-iron into this green.
Justin Hastings in front of him just absolutely sent it right over the middle of it. This one up the left side, but should be just fine.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with that, but you take that drive all day long. Well, trying to get it more in the right portion of the fairway.
Yeah, watching him on the range, he really tries to take the left side of the golf course out of play, and that's 2 in a row that he's pulled off the tee.
Morales turned in 1/36 on a bogey at number 9. 2 birdies on the opening half. Now Omar Tejera.
Not quite the firepower of the other two, so I expect this to be left of that fairway bunker. But with a good one, he can still get home in 2.
You know, Colt, just looking at, my amateur eye, the setup looks nice. 33-year-old guy seems to just have real solid fundamentals.
For a businessman, he definitely spends some time at the range. Well, he went after that one. This one very high. Looks to be just left of that bunker and really good.
What do you think of that move, Andy?
I think he's got a really functional, very simple.
Yeah.
Not a lot of things that can go wrong, and I think that's what you're looking for. Something you can trust and you can count on when you get on these tight situations and tough driving holes, and
And now ahead on the green at this par 5 after the sensational second shot, Andre Xavier for eagle.
This is a quick putt down the hill.
He's hit a couple of those he's pushed out to the right in the last few holes. Expecting it maybe to go right to left, but definitely didn't. But that's a nice way to make birdie. 2 great shots and tap in for 4.
Put together like the 2020 Latin America Amateur champ Abel Gallegos from Argentina. Thick through the trunk, plenty of power. Giving you a look at some of the highlights now from the 22-year-old Brazilian. Here he is, number 1.
What a great way to get started. The first hole's kind of a nice, comfortable handshake getting started off. The third is the difficult par 3. They've moved the tee up some today, giving the players a tough hole location, and he handled it beautifully.
Headed number 7. He's picked up a lot of international experience in the last year or so. Pan American Games in Chile, South American Amateur, Team Championships in Colombia, the Eisenhower Trophy.
With iron shots like that, that makes this game very simple.
And now at number 9.
This was a par save. That sometimes can be even more valuable than hitting in there close and making a birdie. Keep the momentum going. And this is the second into the par 5 10th. What a play this was. With 7 iron. Nice hit 7 iron to 570 yard par 5s.
Guessing you didn't have a whole lot of 7 irons to 5 pars in your day, big man.
Third shots, maybe.
He says when the pressure hits, he starts playing better. We'll see if he can back that up. The remainder of this round and then into the weekend. You can stay connected to all of the Latin America Amateur Championship action anywhere, anytime. Visit LAACgolf.com and follow the championship on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. They have an excellent team.
They're sending out a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, the digital content is outstanding. A lot of feature stories and photographs, live scoring. All right, Andy.
Yeah, the 10th hole, this is really a nice par 5. It gives you tons of options. You can take a very aggressive line and put it in that 20-yard fairway between the water and the bunker. Or you can take it out in the big wide area in the left, or you can actually just stay short or now downwind. The longer hitters are just taking it right over. If there's no wind helping, you might lay it up in this area just to take all the risk out of playing this hole, because coming in at the angle you're coming in over the water, it's a really shallow green, but it's a really cool par 5 that you hit 2 great shots. You can take advantage of it. You hit one, pour one, and you can make a 6 or 7 so quickly.
That's Omar Tejera. He's given up a lot off the tee to the college players. Now at the 11th.
This is a par 4 that is very drivable. We saw a couple players hit it on here yesterday. I think with the wind coming back from the right and maybe hurting a little bit, it's not worth it. You can either lay it up to short of the bunker, or you can try to hit 3-wood or a driver out short left of the green. It gives you a really nice angle. Tough hole location today, cutting in the right edge of this green, just over a bunker.
Now Tahara.
And he's got a decision to make here, guys. 242 hole, 226 front. There's nothing wrong with hitting it over that bunker that's about 15 yards short of the front and leaving yourself a pretty simple pitch.
We've seen a few players, Cole, take that line and carry it through the fairway, and they've been down up against the fence.
Well, that's not any good.
No, not at all. I think that's one of the interesting parts of this golf course. There's so many angles that you've got to be really careful. But this downwind, the long iron, can he stop this on this green?
I think he's got to be looking about 30 feet left of it, right over the center of that bunker. And if it gets on the green, great. If not, should be a little pitch from just short of the green.
And even if he caught the bunker, it wouldn't be that big a deal.
This one is at the very left side of the green. Took a pretty big bounce, but should be okay.
And it's going to stay in the fringe cut, not get to the rough. That's a very smart shot. It's hard to go with that one if you're not hitting a 6 or 7 iron.
Morales.
And these lies you get in the fairway here don't really help either. This is a downhill lie with the ball above his feet. And with a right hole location and the wind off the right, this is not easy. But he does like to hit a high fade with his iron, so he could hold it up against that wind.
Well, I never like to hit a cut into a right to left wind going over water, because sometimes the wind can eat it up, and that would make you look pretty silly.
Andy, watching him warm up today, though, he just has that sound coming off his irons. It's so pure.
He definitely has a lot of speed. He can launch it up in the air.
This was really solidly struck, also at the left side.
Oh, that one had enough spin on it that he was able to stay on the putting surface.
Yeah, that had a sound.
Yeah, that was a good play.
Now, Hastings has just 205, 189 front. He can be a lot more aggressive than the other two. Have to think this is no more than 6 iron.
Cole, I really do like his golf swing. Very simple.
I think this is a great swing for the people at home to pay attention to. Everybody thinks they got to keep their head still, but him, a lot like Justin Thomas, on the way back, his head goes with the club in his chest. Oh, this is right at it.
You got a big time club twirl, and that's going to be very makeable. He's in the right quadrant.
Has 2 individual collegiate wins. Talking about Justin Hastings, playing out of San Diego State. And another West Coast guy, that was Omar Morales of UCLA. We know California looks awfully nice. I'm happy that we're right here in Panama. It's 90 degrees, warm waters, and really pleasant in Panama.
Reyes at 12 after a big tee shot. Not much left, but sometimes you get it too close to the green. Almost better off back another 25 or 30 yards, you can hit a 12th hole is a very interesting par 4. A lot of different ways to play it. Gives you a lot of options. Straight downwind is sometimes more difficult to control the distance than when playing back into the wind. It's a little bit cooler today, a little cloud cover. I think the players really appreciate that. Here's the look down at 9, and that's the path you have to take to get to the 10th. This is a hole that they're giving some rides to the players, which they really appreciate. And then the back 9 winds its way back around this portion of the golf course and more in the middle of the community. Look, flying in here, it looks like New York City. There's just so many beautiful big buildings that have grown over the last few years.
Matias Dominguez of Chile won the inaugural Latin America Amateur Championship in Argentina 2015. Then it was Paul Chaplin, bit of a surprise from Costa Rica. Toto Gana right here in Panama 2017. Playoff thriller over that guy who rebounded with 63 a year later back in his home country of Chile. Alvaro Ortiz of Mexico at Casa de Campo with 66 final round. Mentioned Abel Gallegos, he won in Mexico. And then from the Cayman Islands, there he is. One man, Aaron Jarvis and Mateo Fernandez de Oliveira a year ago. Record-setting score, 23 under par in Puerto Rico, pride of Argentina. And they have all experienced what comes with it. The spot in the Masters, the Open, and now the U.S. Open as well. So we've had 3 from Chile. In fact, 3 of the first 4 were from Chile. 1 from Mexico, 1 from the Cayman Islands, 1 from Costa Rica, and now twice from Argentina, which has the richest history in golf in this region. And now from Panama to Hera.
It's a difficult pitch. You had to land that right on a little spine that comes out of the edge of the green. Not terribly happy.
All right. Xavier at the 11th. He's leading by a shot, and Iona's there.
Yeah, good lie in the fairway on a little bit of a downslope. 141 is what he's looking at, but back into the breeze. He's looking like he's a man in control right now.
That was really a nice play back into the wind from that distance.
Let's go back to the 10th, and Colt is with this group.
And this is one of those putts that can make you look silly, Rich. It's right on top of a spine. You get it too far right, it's going to go way right, like Tejera's chip did. If you get it too far left, it can stay up top. He's got to just pick a spot at the top of this ridge and try to die it there, and then it should feed all the way to the hole. Rich, I asked him who at the pro level his game reminds him of. He goes, I don't know, someone who hits it really good and doesn't putt very well.
That can be fixed.
I said, I know a few of those, and their bank accounts look rather nice. Better that than to be the guy who doesn't hit it very well and doesn't putt well either. You sit next to him, Andy.
I said, he's holding a microphone.
We've got a great look at this, Colt, how far left he's aimed this. Try to just run it down that ridge. Go with a little pencil type grip. And he did exactly what you said. He got it too far left and it's not going to come back.
If his approach shot would have came up a foot shorter, it would have fed back to that bottom level and been so much easier. A lot like Justin Hastings. They both got really unlucky.
We've talked about it all week long that if you are spot on with your approach shots, you get it in these little quadrants, you've got great birdie opportunities. If you get it on the wrong side of these ridges, you've got a lot of problems just two putting.
Hastings' putt is going to be much easier. Doesn't have to deal with as much as that ridge. Still has to get it out there to the left a little bit and pretty much just get it going. I think once it gets over that slope, it picks up so much speed, it should get there.
Putts like this, Colt, did you just pick a spot and tried to just work it over that spot when you had big breakers?
Good speed, just didn't move quite as much as he thought.
Now at the 11th, Xavier, this to get to 3 under.
It's got to be breaking right to left quite a bit at the end. Holes cut just in a little area where the grain goes, where the grain switches.
And at the 10th now, Omar Tahira.
Andy, I'm really fascinated by this golf course because there's so much trouble. If you play aggressively and pull it off, you can really make a lot of birdies out here, but if you bail out at all, it punishes you. Much like we saw with his second shot there. He hit the smart shot over to the left, but just had a brutal third.
I think the angles of some of these greens, you know, so often you play where you hit it down the fairway, you're just facing the green and everything works right up the green. Here, they're all at awkward angles. They're not very deep in a lot of cases, and it's tough to get the ball where you want it to. Just never broke to the right. We've seen a lot of frustrated players when they've missed greens this week. It's tough to get the ball up and in.
This game's way easier with a headset on.
You haven't missed a 3-footer yet today, have you?
Haven't missed a cut in years. All right, this is a big one here. He's missed 2 short ones in a row. Got to be a little careful with the speed. It's straight downhill and down grade.
Got to look at it right behind him. It looks as if he's aiming it a little bit to the right of the hole. And it ended up going exactly where he hit it.
I mean, that's short miss for birdie at 8, par at 9, and then a birdie there.
I mean, that was not the read. That was all about the read. The stroke looked pretty good. It was right on the line he wanted.
That's where he's going to have to put to the test what he told us in terms of what he learned at the U.S. Open about focusing on the next shot. He's obviously disappointed at letting that birdie chance get away. Now at the 12th, Xavier takes a healthy rip at it, Andy.
Well, that's a good line, too. You've got a couple options here. That ball, it was 280 something to carry that bunker. That carried the bunker by 25 yards. He can throw it on the green from there.
So Hastings tapped, remains at 1 over par. Check that Hastings for birdie is now at even. Yep. Excuse me, he's at even.
2 under for the day. That's a disappointing par after the great position he was in.
As they go to the 11th hole, we know when we come to this championship, Andy, there's so many good and inspiring stories up and down the leaderboard. This is Camilo Avila. He's from Bolivia. This is some of his work earlier today in a round of 76. 27 years old. You see, I had him in the lunch line. I noticed, how big those feet are. I have big feet too. I said, what size? He said 14. So we just swapping stories about how hard it is to find shoes that fit. assistant coach right now, graduate assistant for the men's golf team at the University of Southern Mississippi. Actually shot a round of 55 last October at Hattiesburg Country Club. There's a lot more to this story than all of that. He's had to deal with some issues and had to mature very quickly, taking one day at a time.
This is always a special tournament for all the players. Everyone in the region just dreams about playing the Latin American Amateur. This is my 4th one, so it gives you that like special date on your calendar that you really want to just go out there, play, have fun. Well, I fainted on February 25th of last year. I used to get very dizzy on different times of the day. We calculate like 8-10 times of just completely dizziness and like almost losing it. Even on the golf course, like when I'm reading putts, I would like hold my putter really hard because I felt like I'm about to fall. But I almost never fainted until that February 25th. I was in my house on Sunday, 4 p.m., drinking coffee with my family. And when I stood up, I was walking towards the kitchen and I fainted, fell down the stairs, cracked open my head. We did so many tests and it took a while. I got surgery 4 months after. Besides the heart condition, I felt pretty hard. I hurt my back and my head, and it was like a long recovery. They found out that the heart has 2 sides, the one that makes it fast and the one that makes it slow. And the one that made it slow was dominant over my fast side. And there were times where my heart would literally stop working for like 7 to 8 seconds. And once they got close to 8, I would faint. I think it made me even a better person, just knowing, not taking life for granted and not taking anything for granted, just trying to enjoy every moment, and moments like this just make it even better. It is my dream to become the Latin American Amateur Champion, and I don't even know how I would react. I know I would cry for sure. I'm about to cry right now just thinking about it. I'm getting the chills, but winning this tournament just would mean the world. I know it would make my dad really happy.
Big-hearted and warm-hearted guy. You could plainly see that. So this round of 76, honor student at the University of Texas, Arlington. He's now working towards his master's degree in sports management. You love the smile. After his round, Camilo spoke with John Sutcliffe.
Thank you, Rich, with Camilo Avila. Just describe what it means to be playing golf again, being at this tournament after you've gone through.
Yeah, no, first of all, it's just an honor to be here, getting the invitation. You're always waiting for that week in October, normally when the invitation starts going off. And being here is literally my special day, my special week of the calendar. Ever since I played in Mayacoba, my first one, I promised to myself that I'll do whatever it takes to always be here. Like you said, well, I had my surgery in May. In February, I fainted and we didn't know exactly what was going on, so doctors told me I might not be able to play golf again. And I even sent a DM to Camilo Villegas, who is my idol, just talking about his attitude. I actually wrote to him in the hospital bed, and he replied, which was amazing. And just CV attitude, and with a strong mindset and clear goals, you can actually accomplish whatever you want. So just being able to play gives you a new perspective. I definitely didn't have the week I expected, but when people ask me like, how you doing? I was like, I'm breathing. I'm doing fine. There's other things besides golf, and now I'm on a new stage in my career, and I know I'm gonna be back to the place where I want to be with my game, and it's just a matter of time.
I know you're from Santa Cruz, but La Paz has the highest altitude golf course in the world, over 12,000 feet. Just describe what it means to play at that altitude in La Paz, Bolivia.
It's crazy. It's an experience I recommend to anyone. Go with a couple days ahead because the altitude hits you. You're constantly doing math. It's very tiring. The course is in the mountains, so if you hit it out of bounds, you're actually hitting down the mountain. You're not going for that golf ball. There's no way you're getting it back. And thing is, you're constantly doing math. Normally, I play 18% of what I normally hit, and just so many numbers. You end up mentally tired. And actually, we sometimes do 36-hole day tournaments there, and that's when I'm home. I normally don't use a caddy, but in La Paz, I just need some little help.
So finally, I know you're a play-by-play. You've done soccer. You've done NBA basketball. Narranos, take us a play-by-play of your best shot, el mejor tiro today. Where was it? Narranos, Camilo.
We're going to go to the 10th hole. It started off with a straight bomb. Camilo Avila just hits it down the middle, tight draw over the bunker that carries 295. Goes very deep. I had 195 to the pin. End up hitting a 7-iron just short of the green, and then had a very nice chip with a little side spin to the right and had a tap-in birdie. Made the start of the round a little better.
Perfecto. Una bomba en el 10, compañeros.
I love it. Camilo Avila is picking up fans, Andy, wherever he goes.
Well, what a great story, and the fact that he struggled Thursday, came back with 76 today, which under these conditions is about the average score.
Uh-oh. Got Hastings at the 11th. Yeah, no chance. He knew it right away.
And Rich, that's just like hitting it out of bounds. He's going to have to re-tee.
The leader at the 12th. Andre Xavier. Just a little flip. Probably like to have that one over again, Andy.
You know, we mentioned it before. Sometimes you drive it down so close to the green, you can't put enough spin on it to hit the shot you really want. He might have been better off back another 20 or 30 yards.
Tejera.
He's going with the iron here. And this is way left. There's out of bounds over there.
Oh, man, hit on the cart path, hopped up into those trees. That could be gone.
That is gone. So, now, we also love the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship 2024. We are headed to the Taihei'o Club, Gotemba course, early October, right up against Mount Fuji. It's south of Tokyo. We were at Royal Melbourne, all that it is cracked up to be last year. Jasper Stubbs of Australia won it. The announcement coming. So proud. Golf in Japan, they love the game, as so many of you know. It was Hideki Matsuyama who went on to win the Masters after twice winning the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Now, see if Morales can keep it in play.
Well, that is much more like it. This is thumped right at the front of the green.
And this ball's going to just reach the front of the green. That is a big drive, 313 yards today, back into the wind.
No backing off for Morales. Now the birdie putt for Xavier at the 12th.
Going to break from left to right this one, particularly one that could get away from you in that second ridge.
So right now, he remains one of just two players under par. Terrific round from Colombia's Mateo Fuenmayor, 68 today. In fact, that's low round so far of the championship. Right now it is Andre Xavier Brazil on top.
Andre Xavier playing exceptional golf. 3 under today, 2 under for the championship. It'll be interesting how many players will be under par at the end of the day. Anybody that's in red numbers at the end of this week will have really accomplished a big time feat. Golf course is going to play difficult all week, and the wind is going to continue blowing. Now let's go back to 11. This is Tejer's 4th shot after the tee shot that went out of bounds. And you know, when you're laying up and you hit a shot like that, that is the worst feeling in the world. He could have gone for the green and made that score. Pinto with his birdie putt. There you go. He's had a bit of a struggle today, finishing the front 9. Then this is a golf course. If you get on the wrong spots in this wind, Hastings with really a nice play, a little low pitch and gets it in there about 6 feet for his. He hit it in the water, so that he's there in 4.
Yet another great Grow the Game initiative. It is Drive, Chip and Putt, the national finals. We love it. Kids 7 to 15 with a chance to compete at Augusta National Golf Club. For more information, go to drivechipandputt.com. Sunday morning before Masters Week begins.
Can't even imagine how cool being 8 or 9 years old and you're at the Masters.
Listen. This youngster from Brazil, Gustavo Giacometti, at 14, youngest player in this field, he could play or compete in Drive, Chip and Putt National Finals. The oldest, and this may be his last, and he's had such a wonderful run and great impact, is Alvaro Ortiz of Costa Rica. Alvaro actually had a chance as we watch Omar Tejera. What a shot that is from that spot. Alvaro Ortiz led the Latin American Amateur Championship 7 years ago here in Panama through 36 holes and missed the playoff by only 1. He was 48 at the time.
It's interesting, this shortest par 4 in the golf course yesterday was the 5th most difficult hole, and it probably will be about the same today, because if you make a mistake here, you can make bogey or double bogey in a heart.
We saw a couple of mistakes off the tee from Hastings and Tejera. And let's bring in Colt to just kind of sort it all out.
I mean, what a mess it's been here at the 11th with those 2 tee shots. But Morales hit a beauty. Now he's got about 60 feet. Can throw it up there close to the fringe. Just going to move left the entire way. Anything inside of 3 or 4 feet would be really good.
Colt, you know what it's like to have competed in and won one of the most prestigious amateur titles in the world. You won the US Am at the Olympic Club. Just how much is at stake here for these players with all that comes the way of the winner?
Yeah, I mean, second place is a nice week, but it doesn't get you anything. So it's all or nothing here, which is, I think, why these guys put so much pressure on themselves. I mean, they can fulfill a lifelong dream of playing in 3 major championships in 2024.
And not just that, but it's the U.S. Amateur. It's the amateur at Ballyliff in 2024. I just don't know how many other tournaments, Andy, offer this much to a winner.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. If you were to win here, what a summer laid out for you, from the 3 majors, the 2 amateurs. If you're thinking about turning pro, I think you might delay it 9 months and go ahead and go through that whole stretch of unbelievable events.
All right, so the RNA, the USGA, and the Masters tournament, elevating amateur golf, investing in the game across the region as we watch Hastings try to salvage a bogey. Really 2 goals with this championship, Andy: identifying the best players and giving them that pathway to those elite events that we just saw, and that's a double bogey. The other is for countries and territories that are new to the game or lacking in resources to have the exposure so that they can sort of understand how to better prepare to play at the highest level.
Yeah, and it's not just the players, it's so many other things, from agronomy to setting up the golf tournament to managing the golf course. There's so many other things other than just the players. We focus on the players so much because you've got college scholarships on the line. You've got so many other things that are so positive for these young men.
All right.
And that is definitely headed well left.
And with respect to setup, Andy, our hats are off to Greg Sanfilippo of the USGA, David Wilson of the R&A. And this is a double bogey putt for Tejera at the 11th. That's too bad. Just one bad swing.
He'd made all pars and one bogey up to this point, and now you make 7 on a hole that he thought he hit iron in the fairway and hit it on the green and get a great birdie opportunity.
Also, tip of the cap to Darren Brevard, Senior Director Agronomy, USGA, down here with Remy Gonzalez, the superintendent at Santa Maria, and his assistant, Humberto Mendoza, prepared a really good test.
Whoever's in charge of turning the wind up did a nice job too, because it has really changed how this golf course is playing. Yes. Right now, 51 players at plus 12.
And he's
one of the higher cuts we've had.
Right, have to regroup. Just try to battle to make the weekend. Now Morales to get back in red figures.
Nice 2-putt from the front of the green. That helps.
So now there are 3 players under par. Xavier is leading at -2. Morales and Fuenmayor, who has finished his second round. Let's bring in Iona with the leader.
Down on the left-hand side, but good news, he's got a look at the right-hand side of the green. The wind's blowing hard from right to left, which is going to help it work its way back.
Oh, got a great kick
Iona,
right
that was
there.
A terrific shot. Used the ground, used the wind. That was very well thought out and executed.
That was a bit of artistic shot making right there. So just one spot to fill for this amateur contingent for the upcoming Masters. Christo Lamprecht, 6 feet 8 inches tall, from South Africa, plays at Georgia Tech. Had that early lead at the Open at Liverpool with 65 on day 1. Nick Dunlap has all kinds of talent. U.S. Amateur champ Neil Shipley gave him a good go at Cherry Hills. Stuart Hagestad continues to play at a very high level. Another mid-amateur championship for Stuart. And then we mentioned Jasper Stubbs made some clutch putts down the stretch to win a playoff at Royal Melbourne, which, like Augusta National, was designed by Alistair McKenzie. So waiting for one more, and maybe it will be this guy, Omar Morales of Mexico.
Well, I haven't seen many guys pull driver on this hole this week, Rich. This is a very aggressive play. Yeah. Water all down the right. He won't have any problem carrying that first fairway bunker on the right. It's just, it gets a little narrow once you get past that.
He's backed off 2 or 3 times.
And you remember the tee shot back at 9, Andy, when he backed off?
I think with his length, he can carry it over that left-hand bunker, which makes it a little bit easier tee shot.
I don't think you want to carry it over that bunker.
I agree.
Well, he liked it at first. Now he's a little concerned. I think it should be okay. Saw it bounce.
It's up almost in the green side bunker. That was very aggressive, and he just pounded it. Okay, here's a look at it. Picks the club up a little bit, but gets good width. And watch his legs. Legs driving before the club head starts down, and just absolutely 1.5 feet off the ground, not a total 2-footer.
It's a good example of that ground up action that you see with the young players now. Hastings.
Oh, this is beautiful here, just striped. Just probably wondering where that was on the last hole.
And that's also going to get way down there. That's no more than about 20 yards short of the green.
Put that previous tee shot out of his mind in a hurry. And that's what it takes at this level. See if Tejera can bounce back after the triple.
This one is headed left, needs to get down.
Oh, that carried over the bunker, over the cart path.
And to make things worth it, Andy, this group's about to be put on the clock.
Just exactly what you want. Oh. Yeah, let's take a look at this par 4 12th. Wind today is blowing out of the left. You have a couple of different options. You can lay up left of that first bunker, short of the left one, or you can go ahead and take it on, as we saw the first two players hit it way down there. Normally, without the wind blowing so hard, you're in between those bunkers, but they both put it up there where they just have little nice pitches to this green. So this is definitely a birdie hole if you can hit a good tee shot.
So we are on the east side of Panama City, just 10 minutes from the airport. These guys on a difficult track are trying to take flight. Omar Morales, maybe a birdie here at the 12th that would tie him for the lead at the Latin America Amateur Championship. Right. Here's the leader of the 9th playing of the Latin America Amateur Championship. It is Andre Xavier of Brazil.
Down the hill very quick, trying to get it to go to the right. Just overplayed it, but a great effort.
This is Jean-Louis Ducrouet, one of 4 brother tandems in this field. His brother Jean-Paul, they're from Panama.
This putt will break from his left to right, fairly dramatic the last foot or so. We've seen almost every putt missed on that side. It runs out of gas. You're going back up into the grain, up the hill a little bit. It slows down and just goes sideways.
See the Fernandez brothers, Franco and Benjamin, Aaron and Andrew Jarvis from the Cayman Islands. Aaron won the Latin Am in 2022. Andrew, really good player in his own right. He's in business back home in the Cayman Islands. And then the Wrestler brothers, who their older brother, Toto Gana, won the Latin Am here in Panama 7 years ago. Now Tejera.
Well, I don't think he meant to hit it over here, but he's got a perfect angle and just 105 left. That's a fantastic shot from there.
Well, he's got to figure out some way to carve out even par, 1 under, maybe 2 under the rest of the way, and which probably is the most difficult stretch of the golf course other than 7, 8, and 9. Here's a look at the strike. Decent lie in the rough. I just love it how the shaft bends and then vibrates as it gets through the ball.
Now Hastings.
Perfect tee shot, plenty of green to work with. He's got the face laid wide open, gonna try to put some spin on this one.
He did exactly that.
I don't think he'll be too thrilled with that one.
No. He does have a few of the Justin Thomas mannerisms. Now Morales.
I think he's going to like this coming from the rough. Won't have to worry about the spin. Oh, yeah, find it.
Yeah, that was perfect. Fabulous tee shot. I agree, Colt. Playing out of that little spongy, just go ahead and just hit it, not worry about it. One hop and checking too quickly.
So great chance for Morales to tie the lead.
Here's another look coming down into it. As Cole was saying, the ball's not going to have a lot of spin on it because of the grass around it. He put that beautifully. His head stays very steady. Coming up after the ball's well gone. He's going to go ahead and just clean this up.
And Andy, I mean, I picked him up on hole number 7, and other than the little hiccup at 9, he's had 5 birdie putts inside of 8 feet in a 6-hole stretch.
He is a super talented player.
If this club works the next 2.5 rounds, he's going to be a major factor.
You know, Cole, so often, you know, you talk about how a player is such a good putter, but so much of it's reading greens, and he has misread multiple putts, so maybe that's part of, you know, the issue. But he has got himself right back on the top of the leaderboard.
Now Xavier at 14.
Playing 191 today.
Playing quite a lot longer than that back into the breeze, this long par 3. Need at least a 4-iron to get it there.
Hastings birdie putt at the 12th.
Feel like you got to have it after that tee shot. Right around 8 feet. I believe that ridge should move it a little bit to his left. Boy, things were going so well, too. Andy just cruising in this round, and then just the hiccup at 11, and then not getting that up and down for birdie here at 12.
Yeah, he through 10 holes, he was 2 under par, and as you're saying, just moving forward at a nice pace. But now's when you have to be a little bit patient. You've got some tough holes coming up.
I bet a lot like me, Andy. You were really patient at 20 years old.
Maybe not even at 40.
This for Tahara coming down the hill. This will be a heck of a birdie after that tee shot.
And much needed after the triple bogey. That's that away. Needed that. Well, Cole, I got to watch you play in a Walker Cup match that we did for TV. You were part of maybe the greatest Walker Cup team ever.
They were lucky to have me.
Absolutely. You were the you were the leader of that crew.
You talking about what, 07?
Yeah.
Dustin, Ricky on that team?
It was a great team.
Yeah. How about 13?
13's really a big hole. Wind will be blowing out of the right. It's going to take a big one to get over the bunker on the left. Hole's cut in the front portion of this green. You can use a slope from the front right to bring it in closer. We're right behind Morales as they're playing ready golf.
And they were put on the clock.
Yeah, wasting no time at all. This is a tough par 4 back into the wind.
Just going to catch the right-hand rough, and he's way down there.
What do you think about this? Now he's walking ahead, and Hastings hasn't yet hit.
Well, I think, you know, it's the player's responsibility. If you had his card particularly to be there, I know they're on the clock, but you are supposed to be playing together.
Well, Andy, I'll throw this out there. Last year at the U.S. Amateur, he got a one-shot penalty for slow play and ended up missing match play by a shot. So I think this is a guy that once he gets on the clock, starts to panic a little bit and says, I'm not going to get another bad time.
Would you be bothered if you were Hastings, Colt?
Maybe a little bit, just going ahead. I like that he went over there and teed off, but I don't think he should be walking down the fairway.
Didn't we see this last year with Mateo Fernandez de Oliveira?
Yeah.
Who ended up winning. And Alvaro Ortiz, the Dominican Republic, who ended up winning in 2019.
Well, they try to do ready golf in this championship, which I really do like. If you do get on the clock, it's a great opportunity to just go over and hit it and move on. But I think it's, in total respect, you need to be back here and at least watch the other players. That one's going to have to go to carry that bunker. It did.
And it barely missed the one on the left. He's going to have an awkward stance.
It's been fun to watch. The best amateur players from the Latin America region are battling the winds, the firm greens. Pars at a premium here. 2 under is leading. That guy, Omar Morales, is tied with Andre Xavier.
Javier Morales, 2 under par. They've got a tough stretch of holes at 16, 17, and 18 yet to play. Wind conditions have not died down at all. Very, very difficult. Golf courses playing in the 75.5 to 76 number for the day, and also for the championship so far. So many opportunities out here. If you hit quality shots, you can make some birdies, but if you get it on the wrong side of the greens, even the wrong portions of the greens, it becomes very difficult to get the ball up and in or to 2-putt from distance. This is a southern lapwing. Just nature all over the place. And those look like pink-headed ducks, absolutely. This is built down in a mangrove area, so that a lot of nature around the golf course. We're probably a half a mile from the actual ocean here.
Fourteenth hole. Xavier for birdie to get to 3.
He's hit a lot of really good shots. giving himself a bunch of chances. Missed a couple of little ones. Playing conditions very, very difficult. Hard to keep your patience. Ooh.
All right. It's not an easy spot there for Omar Tejera at 13.
Yeah, Rich, he really doesn't have anything. The ball about a foot away from that fairway bunker. He's not going to have a stance. Looking to play it possibly left-handed. I don't think he can get it all the way to the green left-handed. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just pitches this one down the fairway, but tough break.
If you have to stand in the bunker and you're way below it, there's a great opportunity. I mean, the tendency is to hit it quite heavy. Well,
and Rich, he's looking to hit this ball left-handed. There's actually not a left-handed player in the field this week.
We were talking to one of the reps, and equipment reps, he said he normally brings with a lot of right-handed gloves. He couldn't give any away this week.
I almost asked him, I'd like a right-handed one to help at home when it's a little chilly.
All right, let's see if...
It all depends if he's practiced this some. It's amazing how well you can hit the ball this way if you've worked on it.
It's just... You know what? We were talking about Rod Carew earlier today. Just contact hitter. Bat on ball, put it in play, and that was
very well done.
That was Rod Carew-like right there. Great Panamanian.
Unfortunately, I had to learn that shot because I drove up against too many trees.
And now Justin Hastings, Cayman Islands.
Perfect tee shot, 159. This whole location at the very front of the green. Don't really want to get too far past it, so nothing wrong with the front edge here. This one trying to draw towards the flag.
He thumps it, Andy.
I'm really impressed. I like his action. This ball is only going to get closer. It got right to the top of that ridge, and it's kind of going to come back, and he's going to have a great birdie look.
All right, now Morales.
150, ball sitting down a little bit in this rough, so should tumble a little bit if he can get this to land a couple yards short of the front edge.
The front edge number is the only number you need to worry about here.
This one has no spin on it. Massive bounce.
See if this can come back down the hill. No, it's going to get all the way, and that's a bad break. A yard shorter, and it's right down next to the hole. But that was a bullet coming out of the rough. No spin at all.
Break down the action here, Andy.
Yeah, I think the key
right
is
on plane.
He didn't try to hit it too hard. I think you made a really good point. This is about making contact, moving it down the fairway 100 yards. And
Mac O'Grady was good both lefty and righty, wasn't he? Famously so.
David Graham could play almost as well left-handed as he did right-handed. I also thought it'd be pretty cool when he quit playing serious golf to get a set of left-handed clubs and go start out all over again and get your 14 handicap and go get some shots from your buddies.
After all these years, I have not yet mastered playing right-handed. All right, now at 15, here's Xavier.
Out with the big dog for Xavier. It's a straight hole, not a long hole this one, and the wind, you just don't feel it as much in this part of the golf course. A little bit of respite at long last.
Coming out of the left-hand rough, it'll be interesting if he can control the spin on that one and get it anywhere near the hole.
Tejera at 13.
That from 50 yards, threw it way too far, needs to catch that slope.
He was playing to use the slope, and this is going to be really good.
go to so many great spots with this tournament and the Asia Pacific Amateur as well. We'll go back to the site of the inaugural where Matias Dominguez of Chile won. Argentina, Golf Pilar, just outside of Buenos Aires. 2025 Latin America Amateur Championship beginning January the 16th.
It'll be really interesting to see how this golf course has grown up in the 10 years since we were there. It was a good course then, but I'll bet it's even better now.
See the announcement, all the proud dignitaries. That gentleman on the right of your screen, tallest one there, that's Fred Perpol, president of the USGA. You're now on the executive committee. He was a great basketball player in his day. He played for the Bahamian national team. See Mike Wan to his right, Lee Steislinger. You saw Martin Slumbers of the RNA in that picture. Chairman Ridley of Augusta National. All continuing to do such great work across this region, Asia, into Africa as we watch Morales with the touch, and that's pretty good right there.
That was super fast going down the hill.
African Amateur is starting up in March, courtesy of the RNA.
We had a beautiful lie, ball sitting up, caught it right in the center of the club. Ball spins like that because you've got grooves on your club. So when you fill it up with dirt, you need to clean them once in a while, Rich.
Yeah, they're going to play that African Amateur at Leopard Creek.
What a place that is. That would be really interesting.
It's on the edge of Kruger National Park. There's also a women's Latin America Amateur Championship, women's Asia Pacific. So, I mean, there is a ton happening.
The three organizations are doing some fabulous work to improve the game of golf.
I think what's important to keep in mind is, there's all this unrest at the top of the game, absurd numbers being thrown around, that these organizations are not simply in it to present a gigantic check. That's part of it, a gigantic check to the best professional. They're funding all these initiatives around the world, all the championships at the USGA, the agronomy and handicapping, and same with the RNA.
The RNA are creating teaching centers all over Central and South America.
There's a lot more to it, than just the professional game.
Now Hastings with a great opportunity.
And Rich, when you think of the Cayman Islands, which is where he's from, you normally don't think of the NHL or hockey, but this guy is a huge Edmonton Oilers fan. Loves Connor McDavid. His parents are actually from Canada.
Slap shot wide right there.
Just a bit outside.
Not feeling hockey down here, 92 degrees in Panama.
No.
Colt, you're no stranger to Panama. You played some golf here, didn't you?
I did. Played the Corn Ferry event down here a couple times. Actually ran into a gentleman I played with in the Pro-Am back in 2008 on hole number 9. As usual, I left a lasting impression, obviously.
Hey, listen, the Corn Ferry Tour is going to play at Golf Club of Panama early February. We had a great dinner last night with Chico Duran, who's past president of the Panama Golf Association. His brother Miguel was there. Miguel's current president. Son Samuel's playing this week. Real talent, 17, headed to Clemson. That's a great golfing family, the Durans, and they put a lot back into the Panama Golf Club. Real test for all the young professionals. Now, Xavier.
Just coming out the rough on the left-hand side. Love the way he's working with his caddy, Ignacio. What a great pairing they are, having great fun out here. Loads of communication.
That one with no spin coming out of the rough, scooting over the green. That will leave them a tough up and in.
So one thing, Andy, with the greens as firm as they are, if you get a number, say the number's 140, you're not flying at 140. You might be flying at 127.
And this rough isn't really that long, but it's just enough that the ball sits up and you can't put as much spin on it, so you don't have much control, and in the wind it can go anywhere when it hits the ground.
Yeah, it was a lot like what we experienced at Royal Melbourne for the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. You have to account for the bounce.
Yeah,
like to see the professional game, in America played on firmer surfaces. Don't get it that often.
No, it really challenges the player. It makes you have to hit some different types of shots. You've got to bounce the ball. You've got to play for the bounce. You've got to be careful not to put it in places you can't get it up and in or short side yourself. And here's the par 3 14th hole. They've got 2 different tees they're playing. Today the hole is cut in the back middle portion of the green. Anything to the right is going to run back off the green. Anything to the left can run off the left. This is with the right to left wind. I'd be shocked if anybody hits it back there very close. This is a tough, tough shot.
And Andy, you notice no one was in too big of a hurry to get over and be first to tee off at the par 3 14th. They want to learn a little something here.
A lot of times it's nice to be the second guy.
At 191 today, back into a pretty strong wind. It's definitely playing over 200 yards if you want to get it all the way back there.
Can they feel all of it from that tee? There's some buildings on the right that have got some look at these buildings that will affect the way the ball travels through the air.
No, they can definitely feel it.
He's got this lined up to start it well right of the green. Get it turning with the wind.
Oh, this is turning right at it if it's enough.
That is a beautiful shot. Just hard to get it all the way back there.
Xavier at 15.
Going with the flat stick. Pretty smart move that. Very tidy. Very tidy.
You really appreciated that, I'll bet.
Hastings at 14.
On the range, really worked hard on flighting the ball down with his irons, which is what's required here. Oh, this is gorgeous. Just a little left of it, but got a horrendous kick.
Edge of that green slopes dramatically to the left. He's going to be disappointed when he gets up there and sees us in the rough.
Omar Tejera.
He's hit this club several times off the tee today. This is his 3-iron. This one headed out towards the right, needs to turn over.
Unfortunately, he's got some sprinkler heads in his way that may not be able to putt it.
Some sad news today. 1956 Masters champion Jack Berg Jr. passed away. Known as Jackie, turned professional at 17, then served in the Marines in World War II. He came from 8 back to win that 56 Masters, adding the PGA Championship later that year. 16 wins in all, twice the Ryder Cup captain, World Golf Hall of Fame in 2000, the USGA's Bob Jones Award in 2004. A brilliant and witty philosopher-teacher, Burke once told Golf Digest, quote, that when a primitive hunter threw a spear at his prey, you better believe he finished with his weight on his left side. Reverse pivots in the jungle could be fatal. Stone Age man realized that millions of years later. Poor golfers do not, said Ben Crenshaw. There's no one like Jackie Burke Jr., one of the funniest men around, so full of wisdom and spirit. He had been the oldest living Masters champion. Jack Burke Jr. was 100 years old. Our deepest condolences to the family.
look at one of our leaders just cleaning up that beautiful putt from off the green he hit to get it close. That was a really nice par save. He is definitely playing some really quality golf today. He's made 4 birdies and only 1 bogey, and that was the very short putt that he missed back at the par 4 8th when we just came on air. Now Hastings, awkward little chip out of that fluffy grass, but he did it quite well. He should be able to clean that one up. But right now the playing conditions very, very difficult. Coming down the stretch, 16, 17, and 18 will have winds coming out of the left. Make it difficult to drive the ball in the fairway in those holes. Tough par 3 17th, so they've got a lot of work yet to get this round finished. Now Tahara.
It is the 9th playing of the Latin America Amateur Championship. Is one of the most significant amateur tournaments in the world today, and for the second time we're back in Panama. We were here in 2017. Great finish. Toto Gana of Chile winning in a playoff over Alvaro Ortiz and Joaquin Niemann. There are direct flights from New York, Boston, Dulles, Atlanta, Florida, Houston, San Fran, and LA. We're at the Santa Maria Golf Club. Jack Nicklaus's firm behind the design 2012. They have poured an awful lot into the game of golf. Has really grown in the last decade here in Panama, and really the same could be said so many other countries and territories in this region. Now Morales for birdie.
30 feet moving to his right. Nothing wrong with making 3 here at 14 today.
You got that right, Colt.
And just some of the other pre-championship favorites. Vicente Marsilio of Argentina is at +1 for the tournament right there. Santiago de la Fuente of Mexico, even par through 36 holes.
This 14th hole is playing almost a half a shot over par.
And
every par you make is good out here right now.
Now, co-leader Andre Xavier at 16.
Out with the driver, this long par 4, playing straight down the breeze. Feels like you've stepped into the line of a hairdryer. It's really picking up.
And that is a big one. No problem carrying that bunker down the left-hand side. And here is the 16th. This is a par 5 that's been turned into a par 4 for the championship. Playing 508 yards today. The bunker on the left really doesn't come into play from the tees that have been moved up. If you can hit it down somewhere past the 200, near that 150, it gives you at least a chance to get the ball on this green. Really an awkward green. Multiple high levels in the middle of the green. It's very, very deep but not very wide. And today's hole location is so far in the back left-hand corner they almost missed the green. Any little bit of breeze coming from the left is going to be really tough to get it back there. I think if you just put it in the middle of the green and take a 50-footer and 2-putt and get the heck out of there, it'd be a nice way to go do it.
I love Pinto's look. Right there with the bucket hat, Charlie Cootie bucket hat,
it's
Masters lid.
Nice to see him smiling because he's had a tough day. He's 6 over for the day, and he's played his last 5 holes 1 under par. So congrats for hanging in there and keep grinding.
That bucket hat is back in style again. That's a hot one right there. They fly off the shelves.
It's a great idea with as warm as it's been today. A little bit cooler, some cloud cover, which has kept the sun from just cooking not only the players but the golf course.
You see those two guys. You saw those two guys chatting. I think that's the other aspect of playing these events and others like it. The friendships that you forge.
Well, you look at some of your best friends now that you started playing junior golf 60, 70 years ago, and you've competed against them for your entire life.
Yeah, my best pals still to this day are guys I grew up playing golf with at 14, 15, 16 years old. Morales.
Bunkers out there, shouldn't be any problem for him to hit over.
Andy, they're 265 yards to carry today. Back into a pretty good wind, but
He's hit some drives that didn't look like the wind would even affect him. Now that one's a little bit low. And it disappears in the area where the bunkers are. That was the first miss hit he's had of the driver other than the 9th hole, where he hit it left and got fortunate.
Justin Hastings.
just a beautiful par 4 back into the wind here. Towers.
Perfect line would be probably right between the two buildings. He's got it going left. Hang on. Hang on. That could be an issue. You fight the wind all day long, and you just lose your rhythm a little bit. It's so easy to do.
Now Omar Tahira. He's played a U.S. amateur, Western amateur, and after having had that status reinstated, was a professional for a few years.
Wins back into them and from the right. That's beautiful.
Striped and piped.
A little tight draw down the left side. And unfortunately, just getting into the rough, that's going to make the approach shot so much more difficult, not being able to spin it the way you'd like.
Big Omar Morales of Mexico playing the 15th hole, tied for the lead. Round 2 of the Latin America Amateur Championship. And not too far from the Panama Canal. We had Miguel Ordonez in here a little while ago. They've had some weather conditions that have not been optimal here. Had to restrict some of the traffic through the canal, but one of the most important stretches of waterway in the world.
Golf course has really dried out since early in the week. Ordonez told us early in the week that he thought it'd get really firm and fast, and boy, was he correct. That's a look down the 9th, one of the most difficult holes in this golf course. It's, looking back at it, you can surely understand why. And they're looking into the 18th green. Those buildings really affect the wind flow through here, so the players have to be really, really careful and pay close attention to what direction it's blowing. Looks as if the wind may have died down a little bit, or is just that that building's in the way. Playing conditions really difficult over the first 2 rounds. I think the players would really like it if they turned the fans down a little bit for the weekend, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Sixteenth hole, 2 under par and tied for the lead. Andre Xavier of Brazil.
With the 8-iron there for Xavier from the middle of the fairway, but there's just so much wind, difficult to judge out here. Can have a long 3rd shot.
Lost it to the right. It's that wind you can't feel. We've seen so many players miss this green and 17 to the right.
Now Tejera at the 15th hole.
Just caught the left rough there, has 126 yards left. And Andy, I can let you know the wind has definitely not died down. It is whipping right now.
It's amazing. At 18, all the flags left of the green were absolutely limp, so the buildings there really affecting it. There, 10 over. He's got to be a little bit careful. Making the cut so important. Looks like the cut will be 13 right now. Diabolical green. You do not want to hit it past the hole here. Oh, that one turned out just fine. He's going to have to putt right across the ridge that is the highest point of the green, dead in the center of the green.
Morales.
Very fortunate. Got in between the 2 bunkers over there. Also has 126. And I agree with you, Andy. Probably trying to leave something about 4 or 5 yards short of this hole location. Oh, that one jumped. That needs to sit down.
And that's going to run right off to the edge. He should be able to put a putter in it. That'll be putting back up the hill. That won't be too bad.
Xavier.
Can't take the putter this time. Had to get it up in the air, and he's done pretty well there. It's so difficult to judge it, but he was back into the wind. That was going in his favor.
That was well done. Still has a great chance to save par in 16. That's all you want there.
Hastings at 15.
He is right behind a tree that's about as big around as Chesson Hadley. He's got to either go low cut or try to hit some kind of rope hook, but this was a really bad break.
Looks like he's going left. Just trying to get it in the bunker, maybe?
Wow, that is an incredible golf shot.
It is.
That's maybe the best shot we've seen all week. That was beautifully done. What a play.
A number of players have gone on from the Latin America Amateur Championship to success in the professional ranks. We mentioned Joaquin Niemann. He just recently won the Australian Open. It's a fairly long list, and it includes this guy, Raul Pereira, recently earning his 2024 PGA Tour card. He's playing in the American Express in the California desert right now on the PGA Tour. And with more, let's go down to John.
Rich, over all these different editions, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of the players. And yes, the Joaquin Niemanns, the Alejandro Tostis, the Toto Ganas. But then some players that also have sueños, also have dreams. And in 2017, I met from Veracruz, Mexico, Raul Pereira. And he told me one night we were having some coffee. He says, you know, John, my mom's going to give me her lifetime savings or around $150,000. And I'm going to try. I'm going to follow my dreams.
And our apologies, some technical difficulties obviously right there. Again, some of the other names, Nico Echeverria won on the PGA Tour, Puerto Rico Open last year. He played the Latin America Amateur Championship. Fred Biondi of Brazil, and we have Brazil in contention right here. with Xavier. Biondi is the NCAA individual and team champ from your alma mater, the University of Florida. He played and nearly won the Latin America Amateur Championship. So invaluable experience. And here's Morales. And you would think, given what Morales did last year in some professional tournaments, he won't be overawed or intimidated by the moment this weekend. Having played the Mexico Open on the PGA Tour, and as we mentioned, the U.S. Open last year.
Yeah, those are great experiences that doesn't matter how many times you've done it, you always have to draw on it. And he talked about that this morning, about how he feels so much more comfortable in these tight situations because he knows he can do it. He's done it. It just has to stay focused and play one shot at a time.
Tejera. How's that cut looking right now, Andy?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be plus 13 right now, so he's plus 10. If you could roll this one in and get to 9, that would help, because 16, 17, and 18 are going to be tough.
Birdies are hard to come by out here. This group combined yesterday made only 6. Today, I believe they're at 8. For 3 really good players, that's not a lot of birdies.
And Cole, just sort of a reminder, if someone's just tuning in, why is it so difficult out there?
The wind has been a factor both days, and also these greens are just so difficult. There's so much slope in them. I thought the first day the rule staff put them in some very difficult hole locations, and if you miss it in the wrong spot, you're really struggling for par.
And just a reminder, the level of play at this championship. Mateo Fernandez de Oliveira won at 23 under in Puerto Rico a year ago. Alvaro Ortiz shot 66. We were there for all of it. It was sensational. Final round win at Casa de Campo and Teeth of the Dog. And Joaquin Niemann, 63 Sunday to win back home in Chile in 2018.
Yeah, he's played a stretch starting at about the 8th or 9th hole. I believe it was 7 under through an 8-hole stretch that the tournament was close, and he just took it away.
High-level talent. And
he pull a shot off like he did out of that left rough.
Even Aaron Jarvis, who won in 2022, also at Casa de Campo, he made the cut at the Open. First ever, by the way, Latin America amateur champ to make the cut at an Open. That was in 2022. Made it on the number, playing alongside a couple of major champs, Sergio and Stuart Sink. He shot 369 to get into the weekend. Morales. Okay. Well, Andy pointing out just how crucial that club will be for that guy.
Well, when the player talks about that he's not a very good putter, you want to kind of change that scenario somehow. He's tried a lot of different grips. He's a wonderful ball striker. No.
This to save par. Xavier at 16. Missed a few right today, Andy.
We've seen him push a couple of these short putts today. That's up and to the right. Absolutely needs to keep the putter a little bit lower through the ball. He made the same stroke over at the 8th that led to a bogey.
And this is your solo leader right now. It is Omar Morales of Mexico.
16, 17, and 18 yet.
Omar's just 20. He turns 21 late February in his second ever Latin America amateur appearance. He was 24th previously 4 years ago in Mexico.
This is that par 4 that was a par 5 for the membership. They've played it at 508 today.
And those bunkers will be no problem at all down the left for any of these guys.
If someone told you they'll give you 3 pars, and you had to walk all the way into the clubhouse. You do it every time here.
Sold.
Even though it's a long walk, you'd still do it. That's a beautiful tee shot down the right-hand side. That should give him a decent angle to try to attack that back left hole location.
Just something about that wind being straight behind you that lets you just free it up and let it go, Andy.
Throw that spinnaker out.
Oh, this one is headed right. Saw it take a couple of bounces.
It missed the cart path, which is good, but it's over in the pebbles to the right of it. That will be difficult to control the golf ball coming out off of those. And it is humming back there. You hear it in the mics. Palm trees are.
So 2 from Mexico, right in the thick of it. Get close to the weekend.
2 over pars right in the middle.
3
of this
really,
too.
yeah. Safa in pretty good shape.
Oh, this one is hammered. Right down the right center.
But you look at the lead at 2 under par. If a player's 6 over and makes the cut and the wind blows like it does the next 2 days, I still think there's a great chance that, you know, a 69 into 69, you never know what it might do.
What'd you win your 2 U.S. Opens at?
1 over par and 1 under par.
Listen,
I'm getting yelled at. Apparently he's hitting a provisional.
Yeah, he's okay.
But this is a smart play.
Yeah.
Get a free practice shot well within the rules, because you don't know for sure where it is.
You won your Opens, what, back in the Sandy Tatum days when
Tatum was
setups were typically brutal?
Yeah.
I remember you made a bogey putt, I think at Cherry Hills, to win one of your U.S. Opens. That's how sort of grinding it was.
Yeah, that was a finish 1 over. But that was firm, fast, narrow fairways. Love it.
Great achievement to win not just 1, but 2 U.S. Opens. Xavier.
180 down the breezeless hole as well, a little off the right. It's a long way, so probably an 8 iron. Needs to be a full one though.
Looks like he has a decent lie in the bunker, Iona.
Second round of the Latin America Amateur Championship from Panama, and right now it is Mexico on top. Omar Morales at 2 under par here at Santa Maria outside of Panama City.
Look at the leaderboard, 2 under is leading, but with these wind conditions, the tough scoring conditions that we're going to see over the weekend, I think anybody probably within 6 shots still has a great opportunity. Play one of those magical rounds of 3 or 4 under par and you can get right back to the lead. The golf course will give up some birdies, but it's taking down players with a lot of double bogeys. Probably more double bogeys than you normally see at these events, but you've got 6, 7, 8, 9 really difficult finishing the front 9, and 16, 17, 18 a poor tee shot can lead to a double very quickly. The play around the greens is super difficult to get the ball up and in if you miss on the wrong side. I think outside chance, a player 6 over par still has a great chance here. But it's going to take some great playing.
From the bunker at 17, Andre Xavier.
Short-sided himself, so this is a really tricky one. It's going to demand all his skill.
Just, there's mistakes. If you short side, miss the green on the wrong side on this golf course, you're going to pay the price.
Yeah, he's staring at back-to-back bogeys now. Well, back at 16.
Justin Hastings' ball is in bounds. He's over on the pebbles. Has 185 yards left. If he can catch it cleanly, I mean, you can't ask for a better angle to try to run it to this back left hole location.
Yeah, San Diego State Aztec logo on that ball.
Well, you know you're going to scratch up the bottom of your golf club, but if you could hit it like one line low and get it coming in here low and just put it in the middle of the green, 40, 50 feet short of the hole, take your 2-putt and move on. You catch a pebble in here, this ball could go anywhere. What a terrific hammer angle.
He caught that heavy, and this is headed left.
And that is, you do not want to miss it there. Now you're coming up over that bunker to a little teeny plateau. That'll be tough to get it anywhere near the hole.
Morales next to play.
Perfect tee shot, 174 left. 164 covers in line.
Be interesting how aggressive he gets with this shot.
He's been pretty aggressive all day, and that continues here.
Ball hit really softly. He's going to be able to putt the ball off the fringe there. Just to get it back in that quadrant, it's a pretty good shot.
Now Tejera.
Just a couple yards closer, 173. Andy, I would have to think his mind's on that cut line right now.
I would hope he has a pretty good idea, but it's gone up so much, he might think he's close to it right now. He still has a couple of shots to play with.
This one coming in very low, just a little bit right of it.
It's going to just creep off the back edge, but that's very makeable from there. That's a terrific shot.
This to save par. Xavier at 17.
If he can clean that one up, they'll be back-to-back bogeys.
And at the 9th hole, right on the cut line, the man who hit the opening tee shot representing the home country of Panama, Raul Carbonell. Yeah.
He knew it. He knew it.
Yeah. He doesn't
So
know
much.
it. He has a good idea that he's right there. And you get 2 more rounds.
Yeah, he
in
was
your
really
home
excited.
country.
We talked to him the other night. He said, I hope I don't top it. I hope I don't do something terrible. There's so much pressure. I've thought about it for weeks.
He hit it beautifully and made par at that opening hole. And that's a 2nd consecutive bogey. Pat on the back, hang in there from the caddy.
He's still 1 under for the day, even for the championship, so he's in great shape. Just don't let those 2 bogeys affect the next 2 holes.
So now just 2 players under par. Omar Morales, who's leading at -2, and then Mateo Fuenmayor of Colombia, who already shot 68.
He's been done for 5 hours.
And how
He's
tough?
had a nice
yeah,
lunch.
How tough has it been?
Maybe spa treatment this afternoon.
2 under is the best score so far through 2 days. The ground looks soft there, Colt. This,
yeah, it's a little wetter.
Could be dicey.
Yeah, it's a little wet around the drain. He would have loved for this ball to go about 5 yards farther, so it's more on the upslope. But I think he's got to land this ball pretty close to where Morales' golf ball is sitting on the fringe. It's going to kick forward and to the right once it gets to the putting surface.
We're going to get a good look. He'll have this club face wide open.
Wow, just missed his
so
golf
good.
ball.
I mean, that is outstanding.
You couldn't have underhanded up there any better. That was just beautiful.
Would have been easy to get chunky with that one.
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe bury it, bad lie in the bunker, and it could go terribly wrong.
That's how you make doubles here. You hit it the wrong place, and then you try to get too aggressive and hit it in the bunker or hit it. Now the 18th hole.
Out with the driver for Xavier. One last good swing. Looking for some fairway.
Yeah, he likes it.
That is beautiful. Down the left-hand side. Will help him get over toward the right back hole location here.
So back at 16, birdie try just off the green. Morales.
Going to move really hard from his left to right. See if he can get something to fall. He just hasn't made anything today.
You could see that ball bobble on the fringe, and it took so much of the speed off of it. He's got a little bit of work left to save par. Beautiful surroundings. No. Got a putting from off the fringe.
When they were designing this green, they were in a bad mood.
No
This
kidding.
thing is brutal. Not a flat spot on it, but this is a pretty good look here, moving to his left.
This is probably as good a birdie opportunity as you could get.
Turn for home.
Oh,
yes.
What a birdie. A little local knowledge on that putt. That was read perfectly.
Showing fight and fists like the great Panamanian boxer Roberto Duran. Omar Tejera. Yeah. A little noise out there too. Vamos.
There's a nice sized gallery out here following them around. That was cool. Nice little roar.
There's a real robust golf community here.
Currently, Colt, 54 players at plus 13, so he's now 4 under the cut with that birdie. He's feeling a lot better.
All right, this would be a really good up and down for Hastings.
I mean, when you hit a provisional off the tee and you got a 4.5 footer for par, you'd take it.
What an up and in that was. You could go down there and hit 10 more shots and not get 3 of them up and in.
You're 2 over and 2 unders leading. On a Friday afternoon, they all matter. Just trying to keep it around par. Now, a little bit left here.
Yeah, right about 3 feet. Don't think he needs to get it outside the hole, just inside left and firm.
Good read.
So the highest ranked player in the field coming in those World Amateur Golf Rankings, Omar Morales of UCLA and Mexico, heads to the 17th of par 3 with a one-shot lead. And while we have a moment, let's go back down to John Sutcliffe.
Rich, we were talking about Raul Pereda. I met him from Veracruz, Mexico, here in 2017, and we were talking, having coffee one afternoon. He says, you know, John, I'm going to follow my dreams. I want to make it to Las Grandes Ligas, to the big leagues, to the PGA Tour, and my mom's going to give me her lifetime savings, around $150,000. So now that he got his tour card, he's playing at this moment in Palm Springs. I would say, sigue tus sueños, que nadie te diga que no. Follow your dreams. Nobody can say no. One example is Raul Pereda.
Thank you, John. So 3 times he played in the LAAC and then turned professional, 2018.
And it's been a tough road and a lot of work, and following your dreams, there's nothing more important.
Yeah, and that investment, you can see just how handsomely it paid off. All right, Xavier, second shot here at 18.
Beautiful line of fairway, 154 yards. Just keeping it to a little left of the flag. Set up one more birdie putt.
Okay.
That's very doable from there.
Sensible shot.
Well played, yep.
I think that's a word you always associated with Jack Nicklaus, and you would have understood him winning your 2 U.S. Opens, in those difficult conditions. Sensible.
Absolutely.
Be sensible.
You don't have to force the issue. Pars are great scores, and that was a nice look at the downswing and the follow through. Nice balance. Love that high finish. Yeah, he's played some really nice golf over these first 2 rounds. See if he can finish it up with a birdie.
All right, Colt, here we are at the 17th.
Playing 10 yards shorter today, 180. Wind helping off the left. It's tucked against the right side of the green here, and you want no part of missing it right. Deep bunker and a huge drop off if you get it a little past it, which is a brutal up and down. So I would expect something, 20, 30 feet out to the left here.
That would be very sensible. All the green is left of the whole location.
180 with some helping wind can't be more than an 8-iron for these guys. This one is left and needs to go.
Got up there to where he probably put a putter in his hand, so almost flag high. Got away with it. Lands in a yard or 2 short, and goes back way left off of the green. It's just hard fighting the wind all day long. You're going to eventually make a poor swing. Just hope that it's the point where it doesn't hurt you too badly.
And this man hasn't seen a flag stick he doesn't like. That's one thing I think he'll need to work on going forward, is maybe just being a little safer with some of the approach shots. Or just go right at it, Rich, when you do that.
Or not. Again, just to reiterate what Omar Tahira told us earlier today in playing with him in round 1. He loved the ball striking, loved the talent. He did say he took a lot of aggressive lines. Just sort of, hey, be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a golf course that if you're going to be aggressive, you better be point on, because if you miss it on the wrong side of the green, getting the ball up and in becomes very difficult. Now Hastings.
Yeah, you can be aggressive when you're clicking on all cylinders. Oh boy, that is trouble. That trickles down into the bunker.
right, so we will see if Omar Morales can stretch that lead to 2 here at the 17th hole when we come back to Panama right after this.
Pinto at 18. This is a birdie putt. This would be an even par back 9 after 41 on the front, so he's really brought it back. And he left it short, right on the line he wanted. But a good comeback today. He'll end up the day at 7 over if he taps that in for the championship, so he still has an outside chance. A couple of 68s over the weekend with the wind blowing. You never know what might happen. But he had a really rough stretch finishing. Played the last 5 on the front, 5 over. And got it back together. Got to give him a lot of credit, particularly under the tough conditions they've had out here this afternoon. Our leader walking up the par 3 17th. What a beautiful back 9 he's played. It's 2 under and probably could be a couple more. You love to eliminate the squares in your card, and he's done that beautifully on the back. He's driven the ball nicely. It's a lot of good iron shots. I think he's kept his composure quite well.
Birdie putt, final hole, Andre Xavier.
Yeah, he's had a good look at it. Same direction as Pinto, but like left to right.
Good roll on that one.
Oh, so close.
Just wouldn't go to the right. He thought it was going to go. It just stayed there.
Back at 17, this is Hastings.
He missed it in the wrong spot here, but drew a really nice lie. He's got to land it on a downslope, so I expect him to put a lot of speed behind this and try to spin it.
Colt, could he land it in the fringe, or does he have to carry it onto the green?
He can land it on the fringe, but you definitely want to make sure you get it to the fringe. You come up short, it can come right back to your feet. Just had 0 spin on it.
No chance. Absolutely no chance. We haven't seen anybody get it any closer than that from that right-hand bunker.
Constant psychological battle out there. It really is.
Yeah.
And now finishing up, Andre Xavier.
For round of 69 today. Even par for the championship. 2 really nice rounds. You know, unfortunately, the 2 bogeys at 16 and 17, but still terrific position.
Yeah. Last Brazilian to play a major championship was Fred Biondi. That was at the U.S. Open 2 years ago. Now Omar Tahira.
Gonna move left early, then work back to the right the last 10 to 12 feet.
And just the power outers. That's a good 12 to 15 feet short for a player who putts these greens and plays out here a lot.
Yeah, back at the par 3 14th, he tried to putt from the fringe as well and just smashed it. I think that had a little something to do with coming up short there.
He's baffled on that one. You know, a little gust of wind maybe, mishit. You know, so often we talk about how difficult it is to hit the full shots in the wind, but there are days the putting is just as difficult.
Why is that, Andy?
Well, it buffers you and moves you around. You mishit a little bit, it's real easy to hit a putt 4 feet short or 4 feet long. Particularly the shorter putts, you can miss one of those.
You always stood in steady at 6'4" with that cash-in putter. You still have that?
I do have that one. Yeah. Matter of fact, I have a lot of them.
I don't know why. I don't know why you'd ever part with that one.
A lot of people over the years that were kind enough to, oh, I've got this old cash in my basement. Do you want it? Sure.
Set that cash in against some of those bigger heads
It's
nowadays.
like they're hitting it with a pencil. It's nice to see some.
Yeah.
The members out today. This would be a huge par save coming out of that bunker.
Yeah, he's put his short game to the test the last few holes. He aced the test on the last, but this one, a good 12 to 15 feet moving to his right. You just cannot short side yourself around Santa Maria.
He did it again.
Right.
What an up and in.
He keeps his head in the game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's done a great job grinding after that huge mistake he made at the 11th hole where he drove the ball right in the penalty area, made double bogeys, made all pars since then. Some have been a little bit more exciting than others.
We talked to him a couple of years ago at Casa de Campo about the mental side, and it's something he had been diving into, working really hard on it. He's fascinated by it all. Now Tejera to stay at 9 over.
And there's a leaderboard right behind him. Not sure if he took a look to see where the cut line is.
I'm sure somebody out here has told him he left it short.
I'm sure if he knew he had a 4-shot cushion, the heart rate would go down a little bit.
He's a little frustrated. It's been a tough back 9.
Morales for a 2-shot lead.
And there's been 6 shots played on this hole since his last one. Just hit a beautiful iron shot in there and a great look for a 2.
There shouldn't be a ton of movement on this, I wouldn't think. He's kind of in that little low area.
And this would be the longest putt he's made since I picked him up back at the 7th.
Started at the middle of the hole with it breaking to the right. Unfortunately, didn't have a chance. Needed to be much firmer or just on the edge.
Leading Fuenmayor by 1. As he goes to the final hole, second round here in Panama.
The Latin America Amateur Championship is brought to you by Delta Airlines. Delta, keep climbing. Priam Science, applied to life. And Rolex.
Omar Morales, he's coming off a really good 2023, won 2 college tournaments, playing for UCLA. And Hastings with the tee.
Gorgeous finishing par 4, wind pretty good off their left. Lost this one a little right, he's bagging.
Got fortunate, got past one of the palm trees. I think he's going to have a swing.
Andy, it's amazing how those little bodies of water down the left or the right put so many negative thoughts in your head in about 1 second.
And with the wind howling across, absolutely, there's no way you're going to start it down the left-hand side. So if you hit, even if a decent drive down the right could get to the right-hand rough.
I mean, it's amazing. You could write a novel in your backswing with all the thoughts that go through there.
I'm glad you feel the same way as I do on some of those. That is just roasted down the middle. He has really driven the ball beautifully back here. Really, since that one tee shot at the 9th hole that he hit well left.
I mean, he summed his game up perfectly this morning. I mean, if he makes any putts at all today, he's leading by 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah. But you've got to have an awful lot of confidence knowing the wind's going to blow and you're hitting it really solidly. Take a look at his swing. He really head down, almost a little Joaquin Niemann-ish on that little dip down into the ball.
Tejera
just needs to find land, keep it out of the water. He'll be playing the weekend. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This is way right towards the road. We did not get a signal.
It's a re-tee, and he is going to have to fight to make the cut here in Panama.
He is going to re-tee with a provisional, and he's also switched clubs.
It has been a tough back 9. A triple bogey at 11, a couple of birdies and 3 other bogeys. Maybe he got lucky.
And just a heads up, we are coming up against our allotted time. So if you go to laacgolf.com, you can get up to the minute leaderboards. See how they finish up. Provisional now for Tejera. Panamanian, who was so good spending time with us in the booth yesterday, as was Panama's Miguel Ordonez, who was easily into the weekend. He shot 70 today and is at 7 over for the championship.
Well, if he can make a double bogey here, that will be enough to be playing on the weekend.
Yeah, looks. All right, so there's the leader. It's Omar Morales of Mexico, trying to become the second from Mexico to win the Latin America Amateur Championship. Andre Xavier right there as well, along with De La Fuente, also from Mexico. For the entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now from Panama and the Latin America Amateur Championship.